You have to have great communication. You have to have great leadership from the middle. Derek Johnson's a guy that they're going to rely on doing that. And then you got to have some young guys. There's always got to be young blood. Maurice Hurst, the guy that got in the 5th round, I think he's had a tremendous camp. Really looking forward to what he can do. His first 2 steps are exciting. He's one of those guys who can make a difference. And then his compatriot on the other side, another rookie, looking at P.J. Hall. P.J. Hall is one of those guys, kind of a squatty body, like 6'1", about 310. Can't knock him off his feet. Great balance. Really looking forward to what these 2 guys can do inside.
It's the Jon Gruden era getting underway, trying to restore that Raider glory. They kick it off with the Detroit Lions coming up tonight in Oakland.
As you think silver and black, you think of one team.
He's got it! Holy Toledo!
You think of the Oakland Raiders.
It's the perfect time to be a Raider. It's all about opportunity, and that's win a ring.
It's a physical brand of football, it's a collective brand of football, and it's a relentless one that will not quit. It's all about the Raiders.
Man, this is the standard. This is how we do things.
We've got to become a force in pro football once again.
Hey, good start, baby, good start. Raiders on 3. 1, 2, 3. Raiders!
It is a beautiful night in the Bay Area. Oakland, California, the scene for the start of a new era in Raiders football. Jon Gruden is back in black, silver and black to be precise, with his family on hand. His return to Oakland 20 years after he was first hired by Al Davis, and meeting the folks again in the black hole. One of the things he was most looking forward to tonight on his return, 10 years removed from the last time he coached on an NFL sideline. It's the Raiders and the Lions, and a Raider roster that is half new from where we stood just a year ago. Change down on the field, we got change up here as well. Of course, Matt Millen is back for more Oakland preseason football, the 4-time Super Bowl champ. And we've got another Raider legend with us, and the NFL MVP, Rich Gannon. Rich, welcome back to Oakland.
Beth, it's great to be with you both. I got to tell you that I'm a little worried about Matt treating me like a rookie all over again, so I hope he's good to me early.
I told him to put away the paddle. We'll keep that set aside. But you, of course, have the perspective of having played here for John Gruden and had success with him. What excites you about the coach being back and the possibilities for this offense?
Well, I visited with him this morning. I can tell you he is so excited for this opportunity to be back on the sidelines with the Oakland Raiders. He's worked at this a long time. It's been 9 years in the making, but I tell you, he feels good about this football team, their energy, their passion. John hasn't changed. He's still the same workaholic. He's going to grind away with this football team, but he knows that he's got talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You start with the quarterback, Derek Carr. He has worked very hard to learn the offensive system. He has bought in. He's worked hard through the spring. I've been impressed with his ability to absorb a lot of the information, a lot of the volume. He's going to have a lot of freedom and flexibility at the line of scrimmage. And, of course, in free agency, they went out and signed Jordy Nelson. He knows how to find the end zone. 63 touchdowns over the last 6 seasons that he's played. He's going to be a great target for Derek on third down and especially down in the red zone. And, of course, on the opposite side, Amari Cooper. He has it all, the speed and the quickness that you love at that position. He's a beast with the ball in his hands. He transitions well. What he has to work on, though, is the consistency week in and week out.
And certainly with Coach Gruden, there's going to be a lot of focus on the offensive side, but Matt, he wants to put that fearsome ability back on the defensive side of the ball. And with that in mind, he brings in Paul Guenther from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, and so Paul's been there for 13 years in Cincinnati, and he comes with a great reputation. And one of the things in his reputation is always excellent preparation, and you're going to get some blitzes. And we probably won't see a lot of them here in the preseason, especially in this first game. But in order to do all that stuff, you have to have guys who understand. And Derek Johnson's the veteran they went out and got. Because when you start to have a blitz-type defense, you have to have great communication. You have to have great leadership from the middle. Derek Johnson's a guy that they're going to rely on doing that. And then you got to have some young guys. There's always got to be young blood. Maurice Hurst, the guy they got in the 5th round, I think he's had a tremendous camp. Really looking forward to what he can do. His first 2 steps are exciting. He's one of those guys who can make a difference. And then his compatriot on the other side, another rookie, looking at P.J. Hall. P.J. Hall is one of those guys, kind of a squatty body, like 6'1", about 310. Can't knock him off his feet. Great balance. Really looking forward to what these 2 guys can do inside.
It's the John Gruden era getting underway, trying to restore that Raider glory. They kick it off with the Detroit Lions coming up tonight in Oakland.
Here's our coin tonight. Heads, tails, heads, and tails. Troy, what's your call? Heads. Heads is the call. It is heads. Troy to form a toss and will defer. Oakland will receive.
It's the perfect time to be a Raider. That's what it is.
It's a physical brand of football. It's a collective.
Now the Oakland Raiders getting set to take the field against the Detroit Lions. It's the preseason opener for both sides. There is the lighting of the Al Davis Memorial Torch. Now we are set to get things rolling. Let's head down to the field right now with JT the Brick.
Thank you, Beth. I had an opportunity moments ago to talk to John Gruden, and this means everything to him. He came back here to win, but he came back to reconnect with the Raider fans and the Raider Nation. I thought it was great that his family met him when he came out of the tunnel, his wife and 2 of his sons. He told me that it warms his heart to be back here where he wants to win in Oakland for the great Oakland Raider fans. Back to you, Beth.
Thank you, JT. And one of the first things that John has to do, he was telling us yesterday, is get reacclimated with being down there on that sideline and all the communication and all the coordination with the coaches and players.
But the reality is it's been almost 10 years since he's actually called plays. So he told us this week that he's nervous. I mean, he's got some, some anxiety about this whole thing, but he's prepared. We know that about John. We sat in those meetings the other night. We got the first 15 plays right here. So I know he's fired up. I'm fired up to see what Derek Carr and John Gruden have up their sleeves in 2018.
Sam Martin will kick it away after Detroit won the toss and deferred, so Oakland set to receive. Johnny Holden, Jalen Richard around their 20-yard line. Griff Whalen is the deep man. This is the new alignment now, the change to the kickoff rule. You've got to have 8 guys. Oakland right now, 8 guys in that setup zone up front. Only 3 guys allowed back deep.
Yeah, that isn't the hard part. The hard part is the kickoffs.
Yeah.
They can be what you see right there. You can be within 1 yard, and they can't move, or they're going to call offsides. So this is a big difference.
No running start right there for the Detroit Lions. And it is Whalen who will take it with a heel on the goal line. And Griff, one of the many free agent acquisitions, will take it out across the 25. Deshaun Shedd with the tackle after a return of 25. So here comes Derek Carr, now in his 5th year. 103 career touchdowns in his first 4 seasons. Only Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, and Russell Wilson have better numbers than that in terms of TDs.
Yeah, his 4th different play caller, his 3rd different scheme in the past 5 years. There's been a lot of change around Derek Carr. To his credit, he's hung in there, he's bought in, and he's excited about the opportunity to work with John Gruden.
Clock operator, please set the clock to 14:54, 14:54.
And that's not to mention you're starting. I know it's the first preseason game, but you're starting a rookie left tackle.
Yep.
And Colt Miller's done actually a pretty darn good job in training camp. We'll be anxious to see how he fares here.
It's a great point, Matt. You want to make sure that you get him off to a great start. You got to help him early with protections and also running the football right at him.
Marshawn Lynch is the lone setback. Jordy Nelson, the motion man. And Carr on the boot. The first catch of the preseason for Jordy Nelson. Well, you mentioned Colt Miller. The first-round pick is at left tackle. Donald Penn has yet to return to practice. Osemele Hudson and Gabe Jackson, perhaps the best interior group in all of the NFL, and a big moment for Ian Silberman to get a chance to start at right tackle. Lee Smith, familiar, along with Jared Cook, the top 2 tight ends coming back into the season. And Marshawn Lynch with Doug Martin joining him in the backfield this season. This is the toss out of the flat to Griff Whalen with the catch, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down to move the sticks. The defensive line starters tonight for Detroit, similar to Oakland, they're looking for a little better pass rush this year. Ziggy Ansah is the guy they've looked to prior. Jared Davis is their man in the middle, 2nd-year pro, led all rookies in tackles a year ago. And Darius Slay, one of the top corners in the NFL, his 8 interceptions, tied for the league.
Our first look at Marshawn Lynch. Here we go.
Lynch, big hole through the left side. Lynch tearing down the sideline. He will make it into the end zone, but a flag down behind the line, right in the hole that Marshawn ran through. 60 yards for the score if it stands.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Well, you want to get your name known as a rookie, but not like that, Rich.
Oh, boy.
That's unfortunate. You know, we talked about running the football at Colton Miller, getting him off to a good start. He's in position, but then he just looks like he grabs there at the end, and the officials aren't going to miss. There really was no need for it, Matt. I mean, he's in position. He's got help outside. good looking run.
That's what they're going to get right there. He had Zettel, Anthony Zettel, 69, across the chest as Zettel was trying to come across. And that umpire, that's what they're going to see. And not the it's to the umpire side, to the left side of the offense.
A rookie out of UCLA and Roseville High School outside of Sacramento, a Northern California guy. Play action with Doug Martin in the backfield. Derek Carr going deep, looking for Martavis Bryant, incomplete. Raider faithful wanted a flag, they won't get it. Tavon Wilson with the coverage, but that's why Bryant was brought in with the trade from Pittsburgh, the over-the-top speed.
Yeah, he's one of the most physically gifted wide receivers in the game, and you just get a feel for his straight line speed. You know, if Derek could have just kept him a little thinner up the field and not crossed him over, but clearly you get a sense for what Martavis Bryant can do at that wide receiver position.
And you do it early, and you put it in their minds early, and you say, look, don't forget, this guy's outside. You better keep your eyes on him.
Doug Martin is the offset back, the free agent pickup from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carr hit as he threw it and nearly intercepted. Actually, Jordy Nelson, a nice job to play a little defensive back right there.
Yeah, did a nice job of closing on the ball and getting it out of his hands, because that just floated out of there.
A little pressure right there, and I think, you know, watch Derek Carr. I think his arm gets grabbed, and able to sit there and drive this throw. And as a result, you see Kennard come in there and get a piece of the ball.
Kennard and Christian Jones were both brought in as outside backers to flank Jared Davis this year for Detroit.
Burke's got to be smart here. Third in the bunch.
Run the draw to will get out to about the 34. That'll bring up fourth down, and the punting unit will come on for the Raiders.
That's too bad. That was a good-looking run from Marshawn Lynch. Matt, you know, for people who maybe don't think he still has the straight line speed, I mean, once he got up on the second level, he was off to the races.
Yeah, and he kicked it into another gear. That safety had a little bit of an angle, and he outran it. That was nice to see.
That was a 60-yard touchdown run for Lynch, but negated by the holding penalty. We're going to see an entirely different look on special teams with a couple of rookies. This is Johnny Townsend, the punter out of Florida. Amir Abdullah will bring it back out to about the 26-yard line for Detroit. 47 yards on the punt from Townsend, the 5th-round pick, the best punting average in SEC history. Getting a look with the Raiders. Derek Carr, Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant. Checking out the Microsoft Surface there. And now the Detroit Lions will turn to Matt Castle in a battle with Jake Rudock for their backup quarterback spot behind Matthew Stafford. 14th season now in the league for Castle with his 6th different team. They picked him up as a free agent from Tennessee. He will hand it off to another one of their big free agent acquisitions, LeGarrette Blount. They were unable to run the football last year. In fact, the worst rushing team in the league. So they brought in the free agent LeGarrette Blount. They drafted Kerryon Johnson, and they drafted Frank Ragnow, who is getting the start at left guard. He was their 1st-round pick this year.
Good toughness. Yeah, he's one of those. He's kind of a grunt. It's kind of what their Matt Patricia's looking for up there. He wants football players. I tried that one.
How'd that work out?
In Detroit, as a matter of fact. Of course, with Matthew Stafford, they have a very good receiving core. A couple of 1,000-yard receivers returning from a year ago, and Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. They'll try and run it, and Markel Lee was there for the stop. Carradine Edwards, Jelly Ellis, and Bruce Irvin getting the start. Of course, no Khalil Mack yet. His holdout continues from Raider camp.
They just made a little switch here on 3rd down. You got the rookie in there now we were talking about earlier, number 92, P.J. Hall.
It's an entirely different linebacking core for the Raiders, and a lot of different looks out of the secondary this year as well.
This is what you're going to see a lot of this year, though, this double A gap look. This is what Paul Gunther likes.
3rd and 5. The 4-man rush, and Castle goes down in the grasp of one of those rookies, P.J. Hall, the 2nd-round pick out of Sam Houston State.
You know, Rich, I saw his mom at the hotel this afternoon. She was all nervous about him. That's a good way to get her not so nervous.
You know, how excited, Matt. Think about back when you were a rookie. I mean, these guys wearing that silver and black uniform for the first time. P.J. Hall played a lot of ball in college. He played 56 games over 4 seasons. He started in 54 of them. And that's what they're looking for. Guys that had played a lot of football in college that can come in and play right away.
Really telling PJ's story throughout the night. He was not even invited to the combine. And the Raiders loved what they saw at his pro day. And this is Griff Whalen getting the edge and into Lions territory, and then a flag down on the backside of the play. 22 yards on the return from Whalen. Let's see if that'll stand. .44 yards there on the Martin punt.
Gonna get a look at Connor Cook. A great opportunity for both Connor Cook and E.J. Manuel tonight to really show this coaching staff, and in particular John Gruden, who calls plays.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 16. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
What they can do and whether or not they can be trusted. And that's what John's looking for, right, Matt? You got to be able to trust the guy. He's going to make good decisions. He's going to take care of the football. He's going to find a way to move the football team down the field and score.
Every coach, Rich, that's the bottom line. You want a player you can trust. You know he's going to do the right thing. He's going to do it every time, no matter what kind of pressure he's under, no matter what kind of circumstance he's in. You can trust him. That's a big deal.
Keith Smith is in at fullback in front of DeAndre Washington, and they'll run it right up the middle out across the 45, and Washington bulls his way out to about the 48-yard line.
I like that Keith Smith, Beth. He got himself his primary guy, and then after he put him on his rear end, he went and got somebody else. This guy, he loves to play football. He loves to whack people, and I like guys who like to whack people. Well, there he comes. See him finishing at the end.
Absolutely. If you're a Raider fan, you're going to see a lot more two-back. You're going to see the use of the fullback. You're going to see a little bit more of the quarterback under center tonight.
We call him beef. And that was a good look at why Keith Smith, one of those new additions, the fullback and the tight ends, right, Rich? John Gruden likes to utilize those guys to get that run game going.
I think the biggest area of improvement that you'll see early is the run game. John Gruden believes in the running game. There'll be a commitment to the running game. You mentioned the addition of the fullback. They've got a big-time tight end in Lee Smith who can move some people. They're 2 road graders right there, and a couple backs who are willing and anxious, including Marshawn Lynch and Doug Martin.
Gruden told us yesterday he thinks that's going to be the strength of their team. Connor Cook back to throw. He's got a man wide open inside the 25-yard line. Johnny Holton all the way down close to the 10 and shoved out of bounds.
I always like this concept, Rich, in this passing game. When you bring it from the other side, you keep somebody to hold the underneath coverage. You clear out the top, and then you bring it from the other side. All that takes a little time, which means good protection.
Really good protection up front. A gain of 41. Good throw by Connor Cook. We talk about gaining confidence early, and that's important for a young quarterback.
The Raiders are in the Toyota red zone. Toyota, let's go places. 1st and 10 from the 10. Actually 1st and goal here for the Raiders, and they'll keep it on the ground with Jalen Richard, the 3rd-year man, along with DeAndre Washington, both probably fighting to keep their spot on the roster with the new additions coming in.
So you got some changes up front. So Assembly's out and Bush is in. And what else we have on the other side? Kirkland's in 79 at right guard.
Got those starters out quick, huh, man?
Yeah, how about it? Real fast.
Farrell Brown is in now at tight end on the right side. Cook will drop it off to Richard underneath, down to the 3-yard line.
Nice patience. Nice patience by the quarterback. He felt the pressure, but he let the guy make his break back underneath, and right on the money, Rich.
Yeah, a little halfback choice. Just get him out in the route, get the matchup you want on the linebacker and safety. John's got a lot of confidence in Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, two very good runners, route runners out of the backfield in the passing game.
I like what he has right there right now. Chris Warren's a big back, 250 pounds.
He's the rookie out of Texas, number 34. Gruden says he looks a lot like Herschel Walker when he's out there. They'll stay in a block. Cook's pass incomplete on third down. And fourth down coming up. Slay had the coverage there on Holton for Detroit. And the kicking unit will come on.
Darius Slay's a good player. Really good player. Had some good reps up in training camp. It's fun to watch.
So we've seen the rookie punter in Johnny Townsend. He will hold here for the rookie kicker and his former teammate at Florida, Eddie Pinheiro. The most accurate kicker in Florida history. He led the nation last year, 94% accuracy. And this a 21-yarder in his first attempt in the preseason, and he splits the uprights. Connor Cook engineering the scoring drive for Oakland and the 3-0 lead here in the first.
Scoring drive, 7 plays, 60 yards in 3 minutes, 8 seconds. Eddie Pinheiro puts the Raiders up 3-0 with a 21-yard field goal.
Connor Cook, 2 of 3, 46 yards on that scoring drive. Eddie Pinheiro, the 21-yard field goal, as the Raiders go 60 yards in 7 plays to grab the lead. It's been a good couple of weeks for Connor Cook and a good start tonight. Remember, Connor was the number 3 guy last year behind E.J. Manuel, but right now on the depth chart, guys, he comes in at number 2 with Manuel behind.
Really a good battle going on, and they're just fighting for reps. It's hard to get them. You've got a guy like Derek Carr, Beth at camp, but I think Connor Cook and E.J. Manuel, they both have spent a lot of time here in the offseason really trying to learn this complicated offense of John Gruden's.
Abdullah will take a knee for the Lions.
Rich, what's the hardest part about learning the offense?
And I just think it's the volume.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much responsibility on the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, changing protections, changing plays, going from a run to a pass, pass to a run, a blitz beater to a 2-deep beater. And so he's going to put it on you. And I think that he wants to challenge the quarterbacks. And I know Derek is a guy that likes to be challenged, right? He wants that volume. He wants that responsibility. All good quarterbacks want that responsibility at the line of scrimmage. And John, believe it, is going to give it to these quarterbacks.
Maurice Hurst is now in the game for the Raiders in the middle of that defense. Ball popped out at the end of the play, but it's ruled incomplete on the pass to the tight end, Luke Wilson, broken up by Tyre Whitehead. Yeah, what was it that Gruden was telling us? He needs to be stimulated. He wants more and more stuff, Derek Carr. He's constantly coming in to ask the coaches for more.
It's interesting when you start talking about the quarterback. There's a lot on the quarterback's shoulders, but when you start talking about all those things at the line of scrimmage, you better have a receiving core that's on the same page.
Yeah.
And especially your number 1 guy.
When there's mistakes in football, I don't care what side of the ball it's on, it always boils down to a breakdown in communication, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's almost 100%.
Castle Across the middle, Golden Tate with the catch out across the 35, cut down by Rashawn Melvin. But the Lions will pick up the first down on a gain of 11. Melvin, the free agent pickup out of Indy, playing on a one-year deal, says he's got something to prove. He thinks he's one of the elite guys in the league.
I think the biggest question mark right now is the cornerback position. I think it's important to find the right 5 or 6 cover corners, and that's what they're looking for through these 4 preseason games.
Yeah, they got to get Garyon Connolly back on the field. I mean, he needs to get out there.
They hope to have him back early next week, perhaps. As the injuries have continued for Connolly, the pass across the middle, busted up by Daryl Worley, another one of those free agent guys on the coverage.
Nice coverage.
Yeah, essentially starting over in the secondary. I mean, they cut starting cornerbacks, David Amerson and Sean Smith last year. They added Leon Hall, Melvin, Wright, Worley, as well as Nick Nelson in the draft. The safety positions got some changes as well, some really good competition there. They brought in Marcus Gilchrist, who's not playing tonight, but that's where they need to be better. The pass defense just wasn't good enough a season ago.
Yeah, that entire back 7 could be all new starters this year, depending on how things go. And the pass incomplete. Kenny Galladay tried to reach behind him to make the catch. And it will bring up 3rd down for Detroit.
You know, you start talking about that, about the back 7, you really have to start talking about what's up front, which is why they drafted those 2 young guys. And there's a kid here on this roster, number 99, he won't play tonight, Arden Key. And that guy, he's got it.
I know you like him, man.
Yeah,
and the work that the team did in practice on Wednesday and Thursday was impressive.
Yeah, it really was. It was. Plus, they were going against Stafford, which was good. I mean, that was really good to see.
Yeah, they had a couple of joint practices midweek with the Lions. Here we go, 3rd and 10. Castle completes it out across the 40. It'll be short of the marker to TJ Jones, but there is a flag down, and it looks like it's going to go against the Raiders here. Leon Hall was the guy that made the tackle.
Well, Hall had good coverage on him, you know, on the underneath route.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 59 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's on the former Lion, Tyre Whitehead. Coming off of back-to-back 100 tackle seasons in Detroit and now making the move to Oakland.
1st and 10 for the Lions from their 41.
Shake of the head from John Gruden. He knows the linebackers had issues trying to handle opposing tight ends a year ago.
They sniffed that one. It was one of those things where they probably telegraphed that one, Rich, because there was about 9 people at the line of scrimmage.
Well, maybe it would have been a good opportunity for Matt Castle maybe to throw the ball there, Matt. But again, the Raiders were all over that. Safety was down. You talk about it. It's tough to run the football, as you know, into an 8-9 man front. Yeah. It's like banging your head against the wall.
Markel Lee was the guy that led the charge there for Paul Gunther's group. Got to know John Gruden through his brother Jay, one of his best friends. They were together in Cincinnati for a while. Dumping it off to Amir Abdullah. Out across midfield, down to the Raider 45, and another flag flies after a gain of 14.
It's going against Detroit. Keep in mind, this is the first time that these officials are getting work as well, so you got to get their eyes adjusted. So far, so good.
Pass interference, number 11 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 2nd down.
19-year veteran Clay Martin, our referee tonight, but we believe this is his first time as the referee. Lost 4 referees to retirement this year.
That's a big turnover, Beth. I mean, that's, you know, you're right. This is Clay's first time as a NFL referee, and came from the Conference USA. He's worked in the National Football League, but great opportunity for him as well.
This will set Detroit back to the 31 and a 2nd and 20. Matt Castle working out of the gun again with Abdullah next to him. 4-man pressure, batted at the line of scrimmage by P.J. Hall, who's already made a couple of nice plays.
Yeah, he has. going to have another little bit of a cover two in that long yardage situation. So you can want to get your middle backer deep down the middle, and B.J. Hall took away. It looks like he was trying to throw to the middle of the field.
And he's getting double teamed, and he's not going to beat the double team, so he does the next best thing. He just jumps up and bats this ball down. And I love this guy, Matt. Played at Sam Houston State. He blocked 14 kicks. He plays with good quickness and strength. He can penetrate. He's having a good night so far for the Raiders.
On 3rd and 20, they'll just stick the ball in the belly of Kerryon Johnson, the rookie out of Auburn, who rumbles back out close to the original line of scrimmage, gets 12 yards back, but it's going to bring up 4th down. Reggie Nelson, the safety, coming up to make the stop.
I know Reggie McKenzie was really excited about P.J. Hall. He moved back in the draft and then got him at the bottom of the 2nd, I believe. And you know, I was talking to Reggie about him. He was like, Bubba, which is, he still calls me 35 years later. He's like, Bubba, he said, this guy, you can't knock him off his feet, and he loves the game of football. And I think that is one of the things John likes about this team. Once around this team, love the game.
Griff Whalen will bring it out across the 25 for the Raiders. 39 yards on the Martin punt, 7 on the return, and a good debut for P.J. Hall.
Side of me, I feel.
Raider Nation, this is a big effing deal. The head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Mr. John Gruden.
I hope people understand the emotion inside of me. I feel unfinished business. I also feel a lot of responsibility to get the Raiders going again. I'm going to do everything I can to help this team get right again.
Raider Nation, this is a big effing deal. The head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Mr. John Gruden.
I hope people understand the emotion inside of me. I feel unfinished business. I also feel a lot of responsibility to get the Raiders going again. I'm going to do everything I can to help this team get right again.
John Gruden returning to the Raiders sideline. Owner Mark Davis said it was one of the best days of his life, a courtship that had been going on for several years, trying to lure John Gruden back to the Raiders, and it finally happens this year. Incomplete on the pass. Connor Cook looking for Ryan Switzer.
Well, you never go broke taking a profit. That's one that Connor's going to want back. You've got a receiver in the flat. You pass him up. This is a mistake. Throw the ball to the tight end in the flat. And he tries to make the difficult throw down the field, especially on 1st and 10. You've got a wide open Pharaoh Brown. Just give him the ball.
It's too easy. Anybody can do that. He did it the hard way.
2nd and 10 for Cook. They'll go with the 2 tight end set again. Bryant is the wide out to the right. They'll run it with Richard. They'll burst out across the 30 to about the 32. That'll bring up 3rd and about 5. Anthony Zettel with the stop.
That's why it's important to understand what you're trying to get accomplished on 1st and 10. John's trying to throw the ball in the flat, pick up 5 or 6 yards, and let's stay in rhythm. And what happens is when you don't do that, now you put yourself in a situation on 3rd down.
The 3rd-year pro out of Michigan State, a 4th-round pick a couple of years ago for the Raiders, did not play in a game last year. 2 years ago, he was the starter in their playoff game after Derek Carr got hurt, and a timeout called here by the Lions and their new head coach, Matt Patricia, who's come over from New England.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Detroit.
He didn't like something. They were in man coverage on 3rd and
They're first.
snap or so.
3:16 to go here in the first, and a 3-0 Raider lead.
PJ is a great guy. He don't say too much, you know, but that's what you want in your rookie. You know, he comes in and work, and he does what he's asked of. So, you know, Mo is also a great guy. Both gonna be outstanding players, and so they're doing a great job of coming in every day. And, you know, they're preparing like we need them. So, can't wait to see what those guys gonna do for us this year. PJ is a great guy. He don't say too much, you know, but that's what you want in your rookie. You know, he comes in and work, and he does what he's asked of. So, you know, Mo is also a great guy. Both gonna be outstanding players, and so they're doing a great job of coming in every day. And, you know, they're preparing like we need them. So, can't wait to see what those guys gonna do for us this year.
PJ Hall, Maurice Hurst, and Arden Key, the third guy that Gruden and Paul Gunther made a priority to get some young defensive linemen in here for the Raiders. And underneath to Martavis Bryant at a first down, Oakland out to midfield.
Rich, there's two ways to use speed. One is straight down the field, which can stretch things, but the other one is to run across the field. A lot of people forget about that. You vacate an area or get it vacated, and then you bring that speed guy in from the other side. That's a tough route to cover.
I know the speed kills, and he has what I would call, Matt, rare and unusual speed at the wide receiver position. I mean, that's what he brings to the table.
That's what Al used to bring to the table.
That's all the time.
All the time.
Al would have loved that. A gain of 18. Here is Cook, and the check down out of the backfield. Ryan Juracek, another guy fighting for a spot at that fullback position. And there is another penalty flag down on the play.
And the Raiders are moving back, so that's a bad sign.
Holding, number 79 offense. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
That is the fourth holding penalty of this quarter against Oakland.
Well, one of the things that John wanted to do is bring the Raiders back to their glory, but
not that one.
We used to do that all the time. We led the league all the time in penalties. I think he wants to stay away from that one. Yeah, he's not going to be too pleased with that.
The penalties have been a problem, no question about that.
That'll set the Raiders back to their own 40. Jalen Richard trying to bounce away from a defender, picks up a couple. Again, Anthony Zettel was there.
And speaking of penalties, the Raiders hired longtime referee and a colleague of yours, Beth, at ESPN, Jerry Austin, to help assist the coaching staff and the players with the rules of the game and the enforcement. He's actually upstairs working with the staff and helping John. He's in the building out at practice, be in the booth on game days, and I think John knows they need to cut down on the penalties. They've been the most penalized team in the NFL over the last decade. John's looking for smart players that make good decisions. Penalties cleaned up.
Cook on second and long. Washington out of the backfield, out to midfield, and yet another flag behind the play. Trevor Bates with the tackle for Detroit.
This one might be against Detroit.
John Feliciano has got had his hands out to the side like, what? Come on, give me a break.
Can't be
here.
me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the old rule was if you get caught that on that one play,
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face on the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's big.
There's another guy that doesn't tolerate penalties, right, Matt? Matt Patricia.
Yeah, I like Matt Patricia. He's a football. He loves guys who love football.
Former defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots.
On that staff for 3 of their Super Bowl wins under Bill Belichick. The Raiders will run it and break and tackles. Washington has a first down inside the 40.
Nice job of pressing the hole and staying with it. Nice patience, and then just follow it through. A lot of times in this league, holes don't look like holes. They look like this.
And then the fullback leading again. You see Yurachek in there, Ryan Yurachek. I think the strength of this team right now is the backfield.
Yeah,
you got a Pro Bowl quarterback. You've got Marshawn Lynch, Doug Martin, maybe the best back. Keith Smith, the fullback. Rashard Washington's a talented group behind Derek Carr.
Washington just picked up 15. They'll go to Rashard.
Yeah, I like to see when the line of scrimmage starts moving like it did right there. Just moving back. Then you pick up 3 or maybe 4 yards. That's what you're looking for, because as the game goes on, that 3 or 4 turns into a big one.
And you know, Matt, there's teams that talk about running the football, and then there's teams that commit to running the football. I think that's one of the problems the Lions have had for the last 4 or 5 years with Stafford. I'm curious to see if they change it. I know with John Gruden, they're going to change it. It's going to be a point of emphasis. You look at the personnel they brought in. John wants to run the football. That'll be good for Derek Carr.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That'll take care of the first quarter here in Oakland. Connor Cook engineering a scoring drive. Eddie Pinheiro with a 21-yard field goal. He's back in the silver and black. John Gruden returns. It's a new look Raiders. Offense, defense, and special teams tonight in the opener. Well, John Gruden isn't the only former Raider head coach to return. Tom Cable is back as well. The offensive line coach for the Raiders. Look at him stack it in that bubble gum. I love that.
I think that's about his 10th piece.
I love it. I love it.
But he's a great coach, and he holds the players accountable. He's very demanding. You talk about unfinished business. Tom Cable has some unfinished business in Oakland here as well, man.
Yeah, so he second time around. And it took a lot of talking to with Coach Gruden to get on the same page exactly what they wanted to do. But, you know, Tom Cable also the last time, he was like, there was another Tom Cable walking around. He lost 130 pounds.
Looks great.
He looks great, and he's a heck of a football coach.
3 years as the head coach here in Oakland, and in charge of improving that run game we've been talking about. They were under 100 yards rushing per game last year. They've got 3 Pro Bowlers returning up front. Here on 2nd and 7, Cook with the scramble, trying to go over the top. Then he finds his tight end, Paul Butler, hauling it down inside the 10.
Nice placement of the ball too, Rich.
And this is great to see, man. You know, an unscripted throw from Connor Cook. The ability to kind of keep the play alive. It's not there. He steps up in the pocket, keeps the ball in the throwing position. And I just did a terrific job by Connor Cook in the pocket, not panicking.
Right, and his eyes going right down the field, understanding exactly, look, he needs help, you find your help, and he puts it in a place where only he can get it.
24 yards to Butler. Back to the ground game. Rashard churning out a couple of yards.
So good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball in this part of the field. And I was kidding John Gruden the other night. I said, you know, when we got down inside the 10-yard line, you never let me throw. You put John Ritchie and Zach Crockett in there. All we ever did, Matt, was just hand the ball off to those guys. You called a bunch of those games. I mean, I never got a chance to throw the ball down here.
Well, you know, the other thing you guys had was your ability, to run the football.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's a big deal. And that's one of the things I think I'd like to see come out of this offense with Carr. And he's not a great runner, but he's got to be able to take advantage of it when it presents itself.
Yeah, and he can. I mean, he's got some talent. He had a great scramble in the 2-minute drill the other day in practice against the Lions. John was excited about that. And if he can make a couple first downs a game with his legs, he's certainly capable enough. But again, it's not something he thinks about.
He called, what did he call it? Unscripted offense.
Unscripted
That's what
plays.
they want to see more from. When it breaks down, make a play yourself if you're Derek Carr.
The underpinnings of this offense is still
that West Coast from Bill Walsh, and a lot of that was improvised. So you have to be able to run this thing effectively. You have to do this. Now make it work.
On 3rd and goal, Cook to the back of the end zone, diving to make the catch. Touchdown, Ryan Switzer, and a leap into the black hole.
He made it work.
This is great to see because the first throw we saw him moving to his right. Watch him scramble to his left. This is about the hardest throw you can make as quarterback, but he does a nice job not panicking. He squares his shoulder and he makes a very good, accurate throw, low and away to Ryan Switzer.
He's impressed me. Connor Cook, we watched him this week in practice, and he stood out, I thought, this week in practices against the Lions, and he's doing the same thing right now.
You know, I think it's harder to play for John Gruden in practice than it is on game days, especially if you're a backup quarterback. He's tough. He's demanding on these quarterbacks. He expects a lot. And that was a great drive from Connor Cook in that second-team offense.
Cook to Switzer, a 7-yard touchdown. Piñeiro's PAT is good. Couple of scoring drives that Cook is able to engineer. Biding his time, finding Switzer in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. The lights of the Grand Lake Theater in Oakland, and the Raiders, their preseason opener with the Detroit Lions, a 10-0 lead. Connor Cook driving them downfield for a field goal, and then the 7-yard strike to Ryan Switzer for the touchdown, finishing off a 10-play drive, going 73 yards. They had the ball for nearly 6 minutes. And Connor Cook, Matt, you and I have been together here for 4 years. This is the best we've seen him since he arrived in Oakland.
Yeah, and this is about the time that he should start to figure in his whole league. You start to figure it out right around here. So he's 5 of 8 right now, 95 yards. But forget the numbers. He looks comfortable. He looks comfortable with the offense, which is really pleasing to see because it's a brand new offense, a brand new play caller, all new coaches. You're coming off the preseason and of course the offseason, but looks like he's pretty well settled in, Rich.
And I could see it in his feet. You know, you talk about he's confident.
You're a big feet guy.
But he's comfortable. And I see him stepping up, trusting the protection. And that's big, Matt, for a quarterback to sit in there and just trust that they're going to take care of some of those internal pressures.
Matt Millen, Rich Gannon with you here in Oakland. The preseason opener for the Lions and Raiders. And this is LeGarrette Blount, the free agent they brought over from Philadelphia with those 3 Super Bowl rings. This was not a good Detroit running team last year overall or in short yardage situations, so they're hoping that LeGarrette can help fix that for them.
He's a powerful man. And he can move the pile.
He can. They need help with the running game. For a while, they've had an imbalance on offense. They were 6th in passing, and yet they were dead last in rushing. And again, it gets back to the commitment. They have to make a commitment to running the football, even with Matthew Stafford at center.
There's Patricia joining Bob Quinn, another guy with New England ties, the GM. Blount, nice opening out across the 40-yard line for LeGarrette. One of the things they've done is they've reorganized their offensive line over the last 3 years. You got free agents on the right side and a couple of first-round picks on the left side heading into the regular season. Here's Blount for 13.
Yeah, that's just a nice job of occupying people up front, and Blunt's going to find his way. Once he gets to second level, he's tough. That's a big man coming through the hole.
That's 250 pounds. I mean, that's not an easy guy to get on the ground, man.
Yeah, exactly.
First down from the 41. Inching up is Wilbur, and the safety blitz for Kyle Joseph as he gets to the quarterback for the sack.
And good coverage. So Emmanuel LeBeur, 54, he has the coverage to the inside. Castle wants to throw it, but then I want you to watch Joseph. He's going to jump up and takes that thing away. Just well played.
2nd and 12.
Well, he gets airborne. Yeah, we'd love to see that. Not a very good job by Abdullah.
Yeah, he watched it.
He watched it. I know what that's like,
well,
Matt.
maybe they were watching your opening comments, Matt, when you said we probably won't see a lot of blitzing from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a little bit. They got a couple of sacks already. They'll run the draw here to Amir, and again, it's
nice
Carl
hit.
Joseph with a big pop,
Yeah,
but flags are flying all over the place. And will this be our first look at the new helmet rule changes? Known as a hard hitter coming out of West Virginia, first-round pick 3 years ago.
Well, you can't take aim, and you have to see what you hit. That's really the important part of that helmet rule. The head should always be up.
They need to get that thing straightened out, Rich.
No, it's going to be hard to officiate, Matt.
Completely agree. They put it all on the officials. It's tough.
Personal foul. Lowering the head to initiate contact. Number 42 defense. 15-yard penalty.
Here's the problem.
First down.
In every contact, with all contact, every player is going to lower their head. The offensive player and the defensive player. And so this is what we just had this thing. I was talking to the officials, and here's the tough part. So what they're looking at is they're saying anything from the face mask up is going to be your helmet now that they're going to call it on. There's a spot in the middle of your helmet that's about 3 inches big. That's the right spot. It's really hard to officiate.
The use of the helmet, one of the major changes this year. We've talked a little bit about the new kickoff rules. There has been a clarification of what is a catch and some adjustments to the illegal batting and kicking the ball out of bounds. Those will be penalized. But of course, everybody already talking about that use of the helmet, and the very first indicator is lowering the helmet to initiate contact with an opponent. And we've seen it time and again. The catch made by T.J. Jones. Looks like maybe a stinger there for Dexter McDonald, who is number 23 there in silver and black, calling to come out of the game, holding his wrist.
We're getting back to that helmet rule. I think what happened with linebacker Ryan Shazier with Pittsburgh really scared a lot a lot. They really want that contact. The contact's got to occur with your hands, initial contact, your hands, your shoulder, or your forearms. And the helmet should really strictly be used for protection purposes only, and that's not what's happening in our game. It's becoming a weapon for some of these players.
Got a flag down on the Abdullah carry.
The part what's really hard is interior line play, because the old rule is face and hands, not hands and face. Face is the first thing to hit, not your hands. You start
Offsides. Number 92 defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
If you start taking guys on and you're a hand player, you're going to give ground automatically, guaranteed. You shock with your face and hands. You go face first and then hands, and that's tough. That's going to be really hard to judge on the inside for these officials.
6 penalties, 55 yards so far for Oakland here in the first half. On first down for Castle, and the completion to Jace Billingsley, the second-year man out of Eastern Oregon, with the catch.
We talked a little earlier about defensive coordinator Paul Gunther. He's really trying to build the foundation with this defense. He's looking for a bunch of type A personalities who love football, and also high IQ football players who can read and react and play fast. And he wants to play man-to-man coverage. He wants to crowd the line of scrimmage. And Matt, as you said, he wants to bring pressure early and often.
Abdullah. Another flag flies. Abdullah with the nice cutback down inside the 10-yard line.
It's going to be offensive holding.
You know, if you listen to Coach Grew, one of the things he says...
Holding, number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
He doesn't say we have to get the best 53. He says we have to get the right 53. Yep. That is such a huge distinction. The right guys on the team, guys who love the game, guys who play smart, guys who don't screw things up on and off the field. Guys who are smart players.
Guys who care about one another, man. I mean, think about some of the great teams, the Raider teams that you played on.
Absolutely.
It wasn't always the most talented team, but it was the most committed team to one another.
Oh, yeah. He would take guys down. To the outside, they would say, oh, he got a bunch of rogue players, and they're all... Well, those rogue players bonded pretty darn well. And they loved each other. It was teams that loved each other. I mean, I hear from my guys all the time. Something goes wrong, anything's wrong, like, you know, I'm having a couple issues right now. And they've been coming out of the woodwork. They're like my brothers. I mean, it's been awesome.
Great to see Jim Plunkett stop by the booth earlier tonight. And
a lot of the Raider alums have been around training camp, even up in Napa. 3rd and 11, and the conversion down to the 12-yard line to Akeem Vallis. Pick up of 14.
The 12-yard line. Gain of 13, good for the Lions, first down.
The Lions are now in the Toyota red zone. Toyota, let's go places. Maurice Hurst trying to hustle back into place there. Castle will go under center with Abdullah in the backfield. Amir will get the call. Another flag down as Abdullah burrows down to about the 7.
A lot of flags tonight. Yeah. You've got a lot of young players playing for the first time. You've got guys who are excited. Guys haven't played alongside one another.
Well, there's no denying, right? You look at the roster, 90 guys, 45 of them
There's
are
no
new.
foul on the play. Second down.
It always confuses me, Matt. The guy throws the flag, and then they say there's no flag. So what is it? Am I missing something here or what?
Yeah, that usually goes against you, too.
They never picked it up when I committed a foul.
How about it?
Emmanuel Lemur, one of the new linebackers coming in for the Raiders. Back to the gun here for Castle on 2nd down.
Drop coverage.
Abdullah lunging for the goal line, gets out of bounds inside the 2.
And they had a combination coverage on the backside. Nobody picked them up.
Little breakdown. You're right, Matt. The flat is wide open. Yeah. You don't get this open in the NFL. The linebacker's not even on the screen.
Usually runs some sort of in and out there, and has to declare really quickly when you're that close to the line of scrimmage. Most of the time, you like to get that tight end, somebody get their hands on them, and then you got to jump that outside coverage.
Well, had that not been the dirt infield down there, Abdullah may have been able to keep his feet to get in. Instead, it's 1st and goal, Lions. Abdullah will get the first crack at it. Touchdown, Detroit.
Good patience by Abdullah. They came with a slant, too. They slanted to the defensive right side of the ball in the interior. And initially it was taken away, but then his patience and allow it to develop, and there it comes. See how they're slanting inside here?
Yep. Good patience to work backside, like you said, Matt.
Yep.
Veteran back.
That was a good drive for Abdullah, who was a star coming out of Nebraska. But his production fell off last year. There has been some talk around Detroit as to whether or not he has a spot on this roster with all the new additions in their backfield. Amir making his case tonight. Veteran Matt Prater with the extra point, and it's 10-7 Oakland. 6:54 to go in the first half on the return of John Gruden to Oakland. Great. Thank you very much, JT. Sam Martin going to kick it away after the Amir Abdullah rushing touchdown to make it 10-7. Griff Whalen will get it out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Trevor Bates with the stop there, and we will see more of Connor Cook at quarterback. A solid first half for Connor. The drive that led to the Eddie Pinheiro 21-yard field goal, and then Cook the touchdown pass, a 7-yarder. To Ryan Switzer, the 2 scores tonight. 5 of 8, 95 yards so far.
He's done a nice job keeping plays alive with his legs, keeping his eyes down the field, and making a couple big throws off the scramble.
We saw the starter, Derek Carr, for 1 series tonight. Expecting to see some E.J. Manuel later on. Cook. And the quick connection to Marcel Aitman, the rookie out of Oklahoma State at 6'4", 220. He has earned the respect of the coaching staff and the quarterback room. Has been a real quick study over the first couple of weeks of training camp.
Yeah, they've liked what they've seen out of him, and they like the fact that he's not intimidated by you know, a lot of rookies come in and they're intimidated just to even be out on the field. This kid looks like he thinks he belongs and he plays like he belongs.
7th round pick coming back from a foot injury last year in college. It's number 33, DeAndre Washington on the run. Kerry Hyder, that's a nice positive for the Lions. He was their sack leader a couple years ago in Detroit, and then last year in the preseason, number 61 in white suffered an Achilles injury. So Detroit glad to have Kerry Hyder back around.
See the guy Jalen Ware in there at left tackle now. Rookie down.
Raiders are 2 for 4 on 3rd down. They've got a 3rd and short here on the ground. Washington, a nice push up the middle. Matt behind that offensive line. They'll get the extra set of downs.
Right behind Denver Kirkland, and a nice job. That's a little bit of runner's patience right there, Rich. You know, it's designed sometimes to go to the outside, and it's your read. And so your eyes have to take you to where the spot is, and he does a really nice job here. So he's going to start a little bit to the outside. Now, a little bit of a cutback right there.
You let that offensive line get up on that Mike linebacker, and they just find that little crease in that backside A-gap between the center and guard.
They appeared this preseason to have some better depth up front than they had a year ago. A few more options as Cook will throw that one away.
And that's a good decision on 1st and 10. It's not there. You didn't fool them. Let's throw it away and give yourself a chance on 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they were trying to sneak Holton back underneath, and he got taken out by a defender. Good move. Just live for another down.
Those are the kinds of decisions that John Gruden and Greg Olson are going to like, because the turnover margin was a major issue last year for the Raiders. And even on the defensive side, where they just could not generate the takeaways, it was a whole different story than the prior season, and just out of the reach of Bryant. Galloping down the far side, Charles Washington had the coverage. It's 3rd and 10.
It's one of those cover 2 throws.
It's a tough one to fit in there, Matt. You're right. You see the corner. The corner knows he's got help from the safety over the top, and it just shows you the respect I think that these quarterbacks have for the talent of Martavis Bryant. This guy can go get it if you just give him a chance to make a play.
Nice job by that safety getting over there in time.
Bryant picked up a draft day trade with Pittsburgh for a 3rd round pick. On 3rd and 10, Cook incomplete, intended for Marcel Aitman, and it's 4th down. Tease Tabor, the former Florida Gator, on the coverage.
Johnny Townsend, number 5 in punt formation.
You see that look? I could just see the look, even from the back here, looking at John Gruden, just the frustration. You know what I mean? And I don't miss those conversations, because sometimes, God, I'm going to tell you, they were tough. He doesn't wait until you watch that film on Monday, Matty. Yeah. He's going to let you know about it right when you come off the side. That's the thing I love about John Gruden, his passion and his energy on game days.
Johnny Townsend with the punt.
Good coverage.
And sliding down back inside the 10-yard line. Isaac Whitney had some good coverage. The body language from Gruden said it all on that last set of downs for the Raiders. They got to boot it away, up 3.
I would try and like place them.
Yeah.
But now just having a warm up, get everything activated.
Yeah.
Feet, everything.
Yeah. This is the first read. Like, instead of like kind of letting him read him, I think it's like, hey, I'm throwing it to him.
Right.
Until he takes it away.
Completely.
Like circle route.
Yes.
Go in the circle.
Until they.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Don't guess on both ends.
Yep. Yeah, I like that way better.
You know what I mean?
Nice and quick.
Yeah.
Yep. I would try and like place them.
Yeah.
But now just having a warm up, get everything activated.
Yeah.
Feet, everything.
Yeah. This is the first read. Like, instead of like kind of letting him read him, I think it's like, hey, I'm throwing it to him.
Right.
Until he takes it away.
Completely.
Like circle route.
Yes.
Go in the circle.
Until they.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Don't guess on both ends.
Yep. Yeah, I like that way better. It's nice and quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was in training camp up in Napa, and a visit from Peyton Manning coming in to visit with John Gruden and spend a little time with Derek Carr. And Derek is now with JT down on the sideline.
Thank you, Beth. I do have Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. We saw you in a series. Assess your play early on, especially with this offensive line.
Oh, I mean, offensive line did a great job. Marshawn looked fast as he ran down the sideline. They caught it back. But no, I mean, I think that we played well. We were efficient coming out of the huddle, all those things, and we didn't want to show much, so it was fun.
The difference, we've talked about your prep in the offseason with Coach Gruden. What was it like prepping during game week?
I mean, you know, we got to practice against them twice, which was awesome. So, you know, practicing against them helped, you know, with the game planning and things like that. But, you know, in a preseason game, you don't really watch much on them. You don't really get ready for them. You just kind of go out there and run your plays.
Marshawn, you had a big run that was called back. Talk about your speed on the second level.
Derek's interview is not very exciting. He's a much better and more excited person away from you guys.
I agree with that at times. Hey, Derek, let's jump upstairs because Rich Gannon is a former MVP. He's now in our broadcast booth. What does he mean to you?
Sorry?
Rich Gannon, who's in our broadcast booth. What does he mean to you as you're getting better every year?
Oh, man, I love Rich. He's helped me a lot. You know, he's always got you know, great information and things to share. His leadership, his you know, way he did things. He's an MVP. You know, he's a great quarterback, one of the best to ever play here, and it's awesome to know him.
Rich, I'll throw it back up to you. Jump on in.
Derek, how cool was it, be honest, to have Peyton Manning at practice and to be able to pick his brain and just ask him about some of the things that you had on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome, you know, and you know, to have him out there, you know, to learn from him, to have him talk to us and share some things. He was very open, and obviously he's one of the best to ever play. So to learn from someone like him was really cool.
Well, you know what? You're doing the right thing. We're proud of you, brother. You've bought in. You've worked hard. You're going to have a great year. And it was fun. Even though it was 6 plays, it was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Derek.
Thanks, guys.
You just said something, Rich. That's a big deal. You said you bought in. The first thing I wanted to see when I went to the Raider training camp is did they buy in? Are they buying where John is selling? And the answer was a resounding yes. That's more than half the battle. It means they're believing in him, and that's a big deal.
And look at too, Matt, he's coming after Rich's some of Rich's numbers there.
We'll get that done in about 3 weeks.
By the bye week, we're not sure if Gannon will be #1 in completions anymore.
Different time now, different league, different games played a little bit differently.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just throwing game. Now, that's what this thing is. So you better have numbers in today's football.
Still pretty cool, though. There's only 4 Raiders with over 100 career TD tosses. LaMonica, Snake, Gannon, and Carr.
You know what I think is really terrific about Derek? You know, a lot of people made a big deal about, well, will he get along with John Gruden? I mean, it's been a seamless transition. I mean, Derek, all good players want to be coached, man.
Absolutely.
And that's what he wants. He wants a guy, John's developed a great relationship with him. And I think it's going to be amazing to watch these two work and function during the season.
They both love the game. That's a big deal.
Connor Cook hooking up there with Marcus Baugh.
And they don't want to let each other down. And I think, and that's what I tried to impress upon Derek. I said, you've got a coach that really cares about you. He's going to take care of you. And he wants to see you not do well. He wants to see you dominate.
Yeah, exactly.
Food for thought as we hit the 2-minute warning here in the first half in Oakland. County Coliseum, the Raiders leading the Lions 10-7. 2 minutes to go until halftime in this preseason opener. Beth Mowins, Matt Millen, and Rich Gannon with you Connor Cook, 7 of 13, 108 yards. He's got 1 touchdown pass. Between he and Derek Carr in the first half, 9 different completions to 9 different guys so far.
This may be 4-down territory if they don't get it here.
On 3rd and 3, Cook stepping up. Incomplete, intended for Johnny Holton, couldn't hang on. And they will send out the punter, Johnny Townsend.
I thought he had a chance there. It's not a bad throw.
That's a pretty good throw.
Oh, he had to reach for it. That was not the easiest catch. When you like to see him make, though, on the boundary.
DJ Jones will be the deep man here for Detroit, back at his 10-yard line.
Good look at Johnny Townsend. This a good opportunity to see him get some hang time and inside the 20 punt.
His 3rd punt of this first half. He'll pop it up. Jones with the fair catch at the 15. 32 yards on the punt, but he does drop it down inside the 20 for the Raiders.
Excited about Johnny Townsend. His numbers in college at Florida are as good as anyone's in the last 5 years. I mentioned he gets the ball off quickly. You could get a good look at Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coordinator. Had a chance to sit in on some of his meetings this week. He really punted well on Wednesday in practice versus Detroit. Had a very good Senior Bowl and combine. He's an excellent holder as well.
Yeah, the Raiders called a timeout here. Must not have had. Who they missed?
30-second timeout.
Yeah, Brown was.
Yep, Fidel Brown running out there late. Just to get back, though, to Rich. He started out under John Gruden in Tampa Bay and left the Dallas Cowboys, where he had been the last 5 years, to join Gruden. What do you say? Coach Gruden could be coaching a team on the moon, and I'd be right there with him. He was excited to reunite. Yeah.
You know, and John gave him his first job in the National Football League. He never forgot that. He was under contract with the Cowboys. He went to Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett and asked if he could come coach with John Gruden in Oakland.
Jake Rudock, the quarterback, slings it quickly out to the edge. Dantes Ford, as the Lions will run their 2-minute drill here. Kerryon Johnson, the rookie, is in the backfield with Rudock. They go with 4 receivers. Raiders with a 4-man rush. Brown trying to get in Rudock's face, and he drops it off to Johnson, who manages to hustle out of bounds.
P.J. Hall and Bruce Hurst to the inside guys on for that defense, and then you have Shalik Calhoun on the outside, Fidel Brown on the other side. One thing we haven't seen, Rich, in this first half is we haven't really seen much pressure.
Right.
Without bringing somebody. So,
and you said that, Matt. It probably was going to be one of those nights. Pretty vanilla defense.
Right.
So we don't want to show a whole lot in week 1 of the preseason.
They got the 2 young guys, the rookies, in the middle, and Hurst and Hall up front. Eric Harris scooting in. Here comes a linebacker and a safety, and it's incomplete.
There's a blitz.
Eric Harris and Emmanuel Lemur were coming.
So I talked to Paul Gunther on the bus ride over. I was on bus 6. I don't know where you guys were, but I talked to Coach Gunther.
And he's dropping some names here in his debut tonight, Matt.
I talked to Coach Gunther, and I said, get after him tonight. He said, well, we're not going to really pressure unless I get annoyed.
Exactly.
I think he's annoyed.
There's always an
right?
unless. Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Oh.
He's the best.
Paul has a great reputation.
He did a lot with less in Cincinnati. They weren't the most talented team, but they played hard and they were very good. What the heck of a run.
Chase is wailing all the way back inside the 25. 57 yards on that heck of a punt. Bradley Marquez had the coverage. Well, so many ways to stay connected to your favorite team. You can follow the Raiders on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. That's Matt's favorite, I think.
I think Matt's on it right now. I'm looking over at
Download your Raiders app and be sure to subscribe to the official Raiders YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to log on to Raiders.com all season long. It's where we all get our Raider news each and every day.
If Snapchat has anything to do with a sandwich, I'm all over it.
Anything to do with the sandwich, you're all over.
I don't know that Matt has a phone. I haven't seen him on his phone all week. You know, he's just up here to watch practice.
Those things drive me nuts.
He's busy watching his reality TV shows, I think. Here's Warren, the rookie out of Texas, who actually spent some time at H-back and tight end for the Longhorns.
Here's another flag, too.
I think that's a combined 13th flag of this first half. 9 have been accepted so far.
I'm anxious to see Chris Warren run the football. I like what I saw from him.
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face. Number 26, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Deshaun Shedd, but there's Chris Warren, whose dad was an
heck of
NFL
a
player as
man.
well.
He was a beast.
3-time Pro Bowler.
This kid runs with some violence. You know,
Yeah,
we watched the practice against the Lions. He about decapitated a couple of those linebackers for the Lions. This guy got some attitude to him when he gets that ball between the
Big man,
tackles.
250 pounds.
Had a 276-yard rushing game in college against Texas Tech. Floated out to Griff Whalen, incomplete. Alex Barrett was bringing some heat on Cook. 2nd and 10 coming up.
A little bit of pressure down. Let's see how it. They ran a stunt to the top side. End comes back inside. He still was able to get the ball out. He had a chance at that. Whalen did. It looked like he may have been hit a little bit before the ball got there.
Out of the gun, under a minute to go here in the first half. Cook with some time. Richard out of the backfield, first down. And the cut back at the 50 to pick up a few more. He made Milligan miss and a gain of 16, and they're hustling to the line.
See if he stops it here.
Down under 35 seconds to go. Cook again underneath. This is Aitman trying to get to the outside and does stop the clock around the 44.
He was close. If he'd have taken another step backwards, that wouldn't have stopped the clock.
You mentioned Aitman earlier, and he's made a lot of contested catches. Watch this route by the back out of the backfield, a little choice route. And it's something that Jalen Richard does a terrific job of. That's the guy I think they really want to feature in 3rd down out of the backfield. He's got terrific hands. He's a very patient route runner. He's got some suddenness to him, which I like.
And make you miss.
Yep.
100 more yards of total offense for Oakland here in the first half. And the 3-point lead on the scoreboard, trying to add to it. Richard again. Linebackers unable to cover him right now. That was Jalen Reeves-Maben who he got away from. And a gain of 9.
Same play, they just flipped it over. Good play callers are not afraid to come back to the same call. They just window dress it a little bit with a little bit of a different formation and a different look for the Detroit defense.
And you're going to have that same matchup back underneath. You're going to go to it every time. That kid is tough to cover. But when you get those guys and you give them a choice, an option down on inside, they're virtually unstoppable down there.
First down from the 35. Richard again. Steps out around the 31. 16 seconds to go.
You almost can't cover him, Matt, with a linebacker or safety type. You know, you almost need to put a corner on a guy like Jalen Richard.
Well, if you're trying to cover him from the 2nd level, you're automatically giving up 4 yards. I mean, it's just the way it is. Just by the time you get there, he's just going to run away from you for that.
Richard will stay in the backfield with Ryan Juracek. A couple of timeouts still left for Oakland. And Detroit and Matt Patricia will take one right here.
Timeout. Detroit. Their second 30-second timeout.
So you pick up a first down here, you can take a shot at getting a field goal, which is exactly where they want to be with 16 seconds, and then you'd work from there. But you have to get into that a little more comfortable field goal range from here.
Richard, by the way, 4 catches now, 35 yards for Jalen.
So the way the Raiders have been gaining some yardage here, if I'm Detroit, I'm going to let my outside guys kind of fall off on that underneath coverage, and then make him have to push the ball down the field a little bit more, so it's a little tougher throw, because Jalen Richard's just been eating up yardage here.
2nd and 5. Richard will run it up the middle, and Detroit was right there ready for it. Reeves-Maben with the stop. The clock will run under 10 seconds.
Take a tough timeout here.
Looks like the Raiders will see what Pinheiro can do under a little pressure here in the final seconds of the half.
Oakland, their second, 30 seconds.
We're going to see how much he likes the infield. That's what we're going to see.
Check him kicking off the dirt.
I was watching him in the pregame, and he was kicking off the dirt specifically. He was getting some pretty good kicks off.
Trying to be the 3rd Raiders kicker in as many years. Of course, longtime Sebastian Janikowski, and then last year Giorgio Tavecchio. He has made one from 21. This one would be 48 yards to close out the first half. Hold is down, the kick is on its way, and it is good right into the heart of the black hole. Eddie Pinheiro makes it 13-7. Raiders over the Lions. Halftime here in Oakland. Couple of field goals for the Rook, and Connor Cook with a nice showing. JT will be back with all of the halftime festivities right after this.
Commitment to excellent pride and poise, the Raiders have tremendous history. And in our next chapter, head coach John Gruden returns to the NFL for the only job he would come back for.
Doesn't take much to get the juices flowing. When I see this place, oh man, I get fired up. Yeah, it's great to be back. No place like it.
Tyrone Wheatley. Wheatley won't go down. Touchdown, Raiders. John Gruden elated.
Oh yeah. Just how I remember it. Only better. My single most proud moment really was when Rich Gannon gave me a game ball. He gave me a game ball after one of the games. I think it was after the Jet game. I'm sure I gave some speeches that weren't always the greatest. I tried to put my heart into it. A lot of times it's just Chucky coming out. He's just coming out. He's excited. He's very excited, especially after the wins. It's gonna be good.
We've won 4 in a row against our divisional foes. That's quite an accomplishment by anybody's standards.
Well, the strongest memories are the big wins. Beating Kansas City, beating the Jets in the playoffs, shutting out Miami in the playoffs. Big wins, those are the things you remember the most. Well, I come in on the early bus. I'm here 3-4 hours before the game. I can't sleep much. So I get here early, I'll have my sideline sheet. I'll be going over the first 10 or 12 plays of the game. But I like to come in here and put my music in, listen to a little AC/DC, get fired up, and get focused and get ready to go. My first home game here in 1998, we played the Giants. We had a tough loss in Kansas City the first game, but my first home game, we got the ball on the 20. We ran 93 weak, handed it off to Napoleon Kaufman, 80 yards on the first play. That's how it all started for me, and that place was rocking. It's just something really special about this place. It's cool, it's unique. Some of the greatest players that ever played have played here, and some of the best games of all time have been played in here. And we got the best fans of all. And now it's time to get going. Time to get this thing going.
Time on the Raiders Broadcasting Network. The Raiders ahead of Detroit by a score of 13-7. Let's take a look at the schedule, the remainder of the preseason. We're in Los Angeles at the Coliseum to take on the Rams next week. The third critical preseason game at home against the Packers before we finish up in Seattle. The regular season is a monster schedule. It opens up Monday Night Football against the Rams here at the Coliseum. John Gruden's first game back. It'll be a big one. Then on the road at Denver, on the road at Miami, before the Cleveland Browns come to town. Next up for the Silver and Black, they'll be in Los Angeles at the Chargers. Then the London game, a home game in Tottenham's new football soccer stadium, heads into the bye week. Andrew Luck off the bye at home, and then short trips to Santa Clara for the 49ers, the Chargers at home, and out to Glendale for the Arizona Cardinals. Long road trip to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, and then it's the Chiefs at home before the big Sunday night football game, December 9th against the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. At the Bengals, the Broncos, and the season wraps up on December 30th against the AFC West Kansas City Chiefs. Experience a Raiders home game in a private suite that accommodates anywhere from 12 to 60 people, available on an annual and single game basis throughout the season. The Raiders suite options are a great way to entertain top clients or to have fun with family and friends. Inventory is limited, so call us today at 510-864-5022. Again, 510-864-5022, and make lifelong memories. The suites are fantastic. When we come back, head coach John Gruden and the broadcast team, as the Raiders at home are on top of Detroit 13-7. This is the Raiders Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, we'll start that with you, Rich. Okay. Do we get a thought from them before the highlights, Mark? Okay. We'll do that. Thirteen to 7, the Raiders with the lead over the Lions as we get set to start the third quarter here tonight in Oakland, the preseason opener for Oakland and Detroit. Beth Mowins, Rich Gannon, Matt Millen. We'll start with you, Rich. Your thoughts on that first half of play?
I thought there's a lot of good things put out there on film. And let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Connor Cook was terrific. Marshawn Lynch had a big run. The penalties aside, I just thought there was some good execution. I thought Connor Cook looked really poised in the pocket. Matt, you mentioned the confidence.
Right.
And, you know, just the throws that he made off the scramble, I thought were really important in the first half.
I can't help myself, so I look at things like I'm expecting good things. So what I'm looking at is what I don't like. And so what I didn't like really is just the flags.
Yeah.
The flag, and it's, you know, it's indicative of a first preseason game, a lot of young guys playing. But that being said, you win with smart players, and you win with smart play. Now, these highlights, this was the smart play.
Yeah, great seeing Connor Cook. We talked about the poise and the patience in the pocket, scrambling to his left, finding Switzer in the back of the end zone. I talked to a couple people at the half, and this is a different Connor Cook.
Yep.
You look at Abdullah.
P.J. Hall played pretty good in the first half, and then it was nice to cap it off at the end to get that field goal. get that extra 3 points, exactly what they wanted to do.
Let's send it down to the field, JT.
Coach John Gruden, coach, assess the play of your defense in the first half, especially P.J. Hall.
Well, P.J., big act to get the thing started. Had a couple penalties on defense we got to take a look at, but overall pleased.
How about the performance of quarterback Connor Cook?
He did some good things. There's still a couple things decision-wise I think he's got to correct, but he moved the football team, put points on the board. I like the 2-minute drive at the end of the half.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Beth.
Thank you, JT. Of course, that is one of the position battles going on, that backup spot behind Derek Carr. The halftime stats are brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites. 210 yards of total offense for the Raiders, and they held the Lions to under 100. The 6 penalties, however, for Oakland for 55 yards, and they lead it 13-7.
Did a nice job getting off the field on 3rd down. You look at that number, 1 of 5.
And Connor Cook with that nice first half led them on 3 scoring drives, the 2 Pinheiro field goals, and then the 7-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Switzer. 11 for 19, 141 yards. He was the 3rd string guy last year, did not see any game action. 2 years ago, of course, in his rookie year at the end of the season when the Raiders played in the playoffs, he was the starter in their wild card matchup with Houston. The first quarterback in the modern era to have his first career start in a playoff game.
That's not easy, you know?
Yeah.
That's, you sit around all season, you don't do anything, and then say, oh, go get hot in the playoffs.
On the road, no less. Brandon Powell, he's one of the new guys that the Lions are taking a close look at. Another Florida product. He's run out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. That was Marcel Aitman.
Yeah, Rich, I got to tell you, I wasn't sure I was going to like this format with the kickoffs, but I'm liking it.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm surprised. You know, we were talking to Rich Bisaccia about that whole thing, the special teams coach of the Oakland Raiders, and we were talking about there's going to be probably about, on average, maybe a 10-yard difference.
That's significant.
It is significant. It's a whole other first down you don't have to worry about. But you know what? It looks pretty much it's about the same. It's kind of impressed me.
I just wonder whether or not, you know, if these returners are getting the ball out to the 27, the 28, if you get these kickers that have the leg just to kick it out of the end zone and just give them the ball at the 25.
Sure.
I think what we've seen through the first round of games is it looks like a lot of the special teams coaches want to keep the ball in play here just to see what's going to happen in these preseason games.
You want to be able to evaluate your coverage units. You want to be able to evaluate your return men, and I think that's why you're going to see a lot of kicks through the preseason. Returnable kicks.
Jake Rudon with some pressure coming, able to drop it off to Billingsley, breaking a tackle out to the 38-yard line. That was Jason Kabinda, the rookie out of Penn State, who had a chance. They brought in both he and Azim Victor, a 6th-round draft pick, to try and shore up the linebacking core.
Matt, do you worry about missed tackles when we don't hardly hit anymore in practice? How do you teach tackling?
That is
when,
tough.
You know what I mean? When we take the pads off a lot, we have all these walkthroughs.
Yeah, I agree. But listen, when you have your opportunity, you've got to be able to make that play. He's got to come inside out there. He got too high on that thing.
Kerryon Johnson with a stiff arm to get through the initial line of defense. And then the burst, breaking a tackle at the 30. Inside the 15-yard line and shoved out at the 5 with a flag down all the way back at midfield. But a glimpse at why the Lions are so excited about that rookie in a 57-yard run.
Yeah, they're going to do the old Marshawn Lynch walk back.
Yes, they are. Lynch had a 60-yarder called back in the first half.
Holding. Number 65 offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
Terrell Crosby, the rookie out of Oregon, flagged. But for Kerryon Johnson, when your resume says SEC Offensive Player of the Year, that's pretty much all you need on there.
Yeah, I don't know if I...
There's 65 right there, was whistled for the hold.
Yeah, and it got called from the back end. No, it's called, so here we go, 3rd and long.
They need the 39-yard line for the 1st down. Rudock going to tuck it and go. He's going to get caught from behind by Trayvon Hester. With some help from Wilbert.
Yeah, good coverage down the field. Nowhere to go with that football. He had to pull that thing down. Kept his eyes down the field, but good coverage by the Raiders.
It's a good effort play as well, Matt, from Hester. You just watch him on the rush, and now watch him finish. You know, quarterback scrambles, he's going to keep coming, and now he's right here to help out and assist on this tackle. Good effort by Hester.
Ryan Santoso is on to punt here from his own 15, and the rookie from Wisconsin, the 4th-round pick Nick Nelson, will get a look here on the punt return unit. Standing at his own 25. High kick, chasing him back to the 15. Got a decent block, and then wrapped up at the 25-yard line. A 54-yard punt, 12 yards on the return. 13-7 Raiders. Got the offense coming back.
To welcome tonight's hometown heroes. As of this moment, there are more than 14,000 firefighters battling over a dozen fires throughout California. And while the fires continue to rage,
one girl whose grandfather and 2 uncles are currently fighting the car fire in the Redding area wanted to show her gratitude for those sacrificing their lives to protect hers. For the past few weeks, 2-year-old Gracie Lutz, alongside her mother Chelsea, had been handing out homemade food to those getting off their shift after battling those fires. A simple act of kindness. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our hometown heroes and Raider Nation's own Chelsea and Gracie Lutz. And to all the first responding agencies, thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, to help those affected by the fires, you can text the Red Cross
at 90999 to give $10 to the American
Red Cross Disaster Relief.
The new quarterback for the Raiders is E.J. Manuel, now in his second year in Oakland. He played in a couple of games last year when Derek Carr had the back injury in weeks 4 and 5. Was a former starter with the Buffalo Bills. And a first-round pick out of Florida State will get the chance here in the third quarter.
He wasn't ready to play early in his career, and he went to a team that wasn't ready for a young quarterback. I think that really affected his confidence early in his career.
He's got the rookie Chris Warren behind him in the backfield, and here is Warren rumbling out to the 35, a gain of about 9 for Chris.
It's a big physical man, Chris Warren. His dad had the same type of running style. That was a tough man to bring down. You're going to get some people moving. That's a nice job on the offensive line of moving people, getting them to the second level, and he's got to take it from there.
So another 2 tight end set right there too, with Baugh and Brown helping with the push. Chris's dad, 4 1,000-yard rushing seasons in Seattle. Takes a hit, stays on his feet to get the first down there.
You know, he reminds me of one of those old school backs, Matt. You know, the more touches he gets, the stronger he seems to get later in games. You know, and it's, you know, you think about those backs that you had to bring down over those years. You know, this is a big man. And you keep chipping away at the defense, you keep giving this guy opportunities, he can wear down a defense over a period of a game.
Riggins was like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Marshawn
Wear you
Lynch.
out. Even in practice, right?
John wasn't too thrilled to practice it. Yeah.
Timeout.
From the Allen Iverson School.
They're first.
Marshawn is I think it's a PB&J. We'll check back on that in a moment. 13-7 Raiders. It was a light night for Derek Carr, a good night for Connor Cook. They're over there chatting with Martavis Bryant, one of the new additions, coming over on the trade with Pittsburgh. Carr getting set for his 5th season with the Raiders. Looking for a more productive offensive unit this year after the disappointing campaign a year ago. It saw the Raiders fall to 6-10 after a 12-win season the year prior.
Another flag on the play, Beth.
21-yard gain. Looks like that may be negated.
That's Saeed Blacknall. Productive kid from Penn State. I think he's had a pretty good training camp.
Picked him up as an undrafted free agent.
There's no foul on the play. The result of the play is the first down.
I just want to know what they were discussing.
You see the action, and then of course the slide route. It's tough on a defense. You've got the run action one way, and they bring that receiver underneath and behind the line of scrimmage. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
You see that extra Z short motion, that's your first indicator, and you're looking at guys who probably are just trying to learn what I have to do in this defense. So this is the time when you can get some of this stuff.
1st and 10, Oakland. A lot of room for Warren as he gets the edge and rumbles down inside the 20-yard line. And a gain of 26 for the rookie.
We talk about plays that look the same, that are different. Now we're going to hand it to the back. You see the short motion. The defense just saw that. Now they hand the ball to Chris Warren. They have no support on the edge, and he's off to the races.
Alex Barrett, that outside linebacker, you could see the hesitation. And when you hesitate in this league, forget it. He hesitated just a tad. Warren got the edge.
Warren will run the other way this time. Met in the hole by Tracy Walker, who stands him up at the 12.
He's going to have to
mark
drop
him at the 11.
Yeah, Beth, he's going to have to drop his pad level. You can't, I don't care how big and strong you are, you can't keep, as the game goes on, they will wear you out.
The Raiders are now in the Toyota red zone. Toyota, let's go places.
The lower guy usually wins, right, man?
Oh, yeah.
You get those.
Yep. Leverage. Who's the father of leverage? He was right. It's an ancient, I forget right now off the top of my head.
Related to the mother of invention?
No.
Warren, 6 carries, 46 yards. He'll get it again. And the push down around the 5 for the Raiders. Going to be close to that first down marker.
See those white jerseys going backwards.
Oh yeah, that's what we saw at the end of the second quarter rather. But now watch this guy, he's just moving people. That's a big, powerful man.
John Gruden kept referring to him, Beth, as you said, Herschel Walker in the meetings. Reminds him of Herschel Walker. He's got that look, he's got that number. I played with Herschel in Minnesota. He's a beast.
Bill Jackson sported that number as well for the Silver and Black. A fumble on the exchange. John Feliciano and E.J. Manuel, and the Lions have come out with it.
This will drive Coach Gruden absolutely crazy. Quarterback center exchange. It's day one football. It's one of the most basic things we do It's tough to tell, Matt, whether it was a short snap or whether the quarterback came out early. I know it was a quarterback, but I always did, though. I ran to the sideline first and said, I didn't get it. You know what I mean? I didn't get it.
Right
you know
under the bus. They threw him right under the bus.
I didn't get it, Coach.
Miles Killebrew is the guy that recovered for Detroit. And a fumble for the Raiders on the 7-yard line. Rudock looking for the quick strike off the turnover and complete, intended for T.O. Redding. It was Nick Nelson on the coverage.
It's good coverage. 3-year starter, college, played 2 of his 3 years at Hawaii before transferring to Wisconsin.
Good player. Adam, I watched him a year ago. He turned in some pretty good games for Paul Chris. That's he's going to be a competitive guy.
Really good man-to-man coverage ability.
Set a school record, in fact, last year with 21 pass breakups. And all Big Ten performers. 2nd and 10. Rudock. Quickly to Powell and cut down immediately again. It's Nelson who read that well.
That's good key, good diagnose, and then he made the play. All that's good. His main job is to turn it back in, not let him get to the outside. Well, he defeated the block, did his job, and still came down with the tackle. That's a big-time play.
You know, Matt, a lot of these guys can cover, but can they show up and participate and run support? Are they tough enough? I think we're seeing that with Nick Nelson, the willingness to show up and run support.
A loss of 2 on the play. The Lions just 1 for 6 on 3rd down tonight. They'll run the screen, and they'll get the first down. Kerryon Johnson out across the 25.
Kabinda had a chance. He took the wrong angle. He came back to the underneath side. He should have gone over the top. At the very least, force everything back inside where your help is coming from. You're going to watch number 46. He reads it right. Now he's coming from inside out. He's got to get to the top side. See how he went under? He can't do that. If you go over the top, then it forces him to have to cut back, and there's some friends inside.
You got to know where your support is.
Gain of 19 for Johnson. Wilbur ended up with the tackle, and now the officials are all huddled together.
This is understanding situational football. 3rd and 10, you're thinking screen possibly. Especially in that part of the field, backed up.
So 1st and 10 Detroit from the 25 after forcing the Raider turnover in the red zone. Wilbur quickly in the backfield, and a couple of missed tackles for the Raiders before they finally collapse on the running back. And a loss of a couple.
Kyle Wilbur, 58, come off the edge, forced him back inside, missed him, got back up, and then got in on a tackle at the end.
You don't even block him.
No shame in missing a tackle. A lot of shame in not hustling and trying to get back in on the tackle.
7th-year man out of Wake Forest. 2nd and 10 Lions. Rudock out of the gun. Johnson out of the backfield, and Rudock hit on the delivery by Shakir Soto. 2nd-year man out of Pittsburgh.
Had some routes a little bit longer down the field. Soto was able to get there. So Rudock steps up, and then Soto just never quits.
Converted their last 3rd down opportunity just a moment ago. Four-man rush for the Raiders. Rudock stepping up and caught from behind. Penalty flag late in the secondary after the sack by Shalik Calhoun.
Holding, number 38 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
against Nick Nelson. Flagged for the hold. That's the 5th holding penalty against the Raiders offense and defense tonight.
That's a big one on 3rd and long. You got a sack, negative play, and now you've got a penalty.
Zach Zenner is in at tailback. Zenner gets the ball, spun around out to the 35-yard line. Frosty Rucker, the veteran, was right there alongside Fidel Brown.
Frosty Rucker or Taba Rubin. You wonder why they signed some veteran free agents like that, and they drafted a couple of interior players like P.J. Hall and Maurice Hurst, because you've got Mack and Irvin, and you need somebody inside to create some havoc, and that's what the Raiders went out and did in free agency in the draft. Got some interior pass rushers that can be disruptive as well.
Rudolph finds his tight end, Vallis, for the first down. He took a shot, is slow to get up. Gain of 12.
We haven't said much about Khalil Mack. Obviously, he's not here. He's not in camp. They'll get him back in here eventually, and those young pushers on the inside will make a big difference with those two guys in the outside. Between he and Irvin, that'll make a difference for them.
And the reality, Matty, he's not going to play the first couple weeks anyway in the preseason. I'm sure that Reggie McKenzie and John Gruden have that in the back of their mind. They certainly want to get something done. They certainly want him in here with his teammates and learning this new system. But look, you know, when he gets here, he's going to be in great shape, ready to roll, extremely disruptive.
And with some experience and some depth, the additions of the guys in the middle, it's a good problem to have, that they'll have some tough cuts to make. With some good showings from several different guys tonight. Slipping in the dirt and then getting back to his feet, picking up a couple. Zenner.
If you're not used to playing on that infield,
I was just thinking
it's tough. I mean, you know, one of the things is you're not sure about the footing. When I would play in a situation like this as a visiting player, I'd come out early and I'd watch what the home team was wearing on their feet. I'd watch what Derek Carr, what kind of spikes he had, or the receivers or the pass rushers. You want to see what the other team is. They have to play it all the time, so they know what the proper cleats are to wear on this type of surface.
Another 3rd down opportunity. Rudock gets another conversion to Brandon Powell. And a drive that started back on their own 7 stays alive with a 9-yard gain.
Rudock's throwing the ball pretty well.
Gain of 10, 1st and 10 for the Lions from the Raiders 35.
Good look at Matt Patricia. I got a kick out of him making the players run after practice, man. A little conditioning, old school. You know, the Lions after Wednesday and Thursday practice, they ran gassers.
Saw that.
Kerryon Johnson, nice hole up the middle for Johnson, and another 1st down. Inside the 22, down to the 21. Wilbur with the tackle. 13 more yards on that rush.
Kerryon Johnson looks like he's got a little bit to him. Got through that thing. Cabinda had a chance, wasn't able to stick it.
Rudock, the 3rd-year man out of Iowa and Michigan. He's 8 for 12, 57 yards passing so far tonight. Quickly out into the front to Redding, and a gain of 8 more. Under 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd. A long drive for the Lions.
Get Hamilton down. Hamilton was playing off. He just took it, threw it out there, see what he could get.
Antonio now to his feet, but he will
timeout on the field for an injured
hobble
player.
off to the sideline. A timeout here, 1:45 to go in the 3rd. Back here in Oakland, 1:45 to go in the third quarter. The Raiders leading the Lions 13-7. It's the preseason opener for both clubs. And off of the turnover, the 11th play of the drive coming up that started back on their own 7-yard line on the fumbled exchange. And the costly red zone turnover for the Raiders, and now the Lions trying to cash it in the other way.
What we talked about earlier, Beth, ball security in Oakland equals job security. You got to take care of the football or you won't play for John Gruden.
We had a -14 turnover margin last year. So we fell to a sub-500 record. Johnson has the first down to the 11.
When you think about turnovers, an NFL game averages 11.8 possessions per game. So every giveaway reduces your scoring opportunities in that game by 8%. I mean, it's significant. And that guy right there, he doesn't tolerate it. Trust me. He threatened me a number of times. He threatened to pull me out of games. He said, you don't take care of the ball, you're going to sit down on the bench.
Final minute of this third quarter. Rudock runs out of time, and Shalik Calhoun gets the sack. Third of the night for the Raiders.
He was looking in the back of the end zone. He wanted to go in, but there was good coverage down there.
Yeah, good coverage and good rush off the edge. You see Calhoun. Yep. He had one earlier that got called back.
2nd and 16 from the 17.
He's one
I
of
think
those
it was
guys.
Nick Nelson who was in, yeah, it was Nelson. Nick Nelson was in coverage. That's where he was looking down in the back of the end zone, but good coverage all the way around.
Rudock looking to the back of the end zone again. Missed him. Vallis had a step on the defender, overthrew him.
Had a shot. Sharice Wright was on the outside. He'd thrown that ball a little bit more to the inside and a little lower. He had 6. But there was pressure back there, and it forced him to throw a little high.
Where the field really shrinks in this part of the field for the quarterback. You got to be exact and precise with your location in this part of the field.
All angles change.
3rd and long. Against the 3-man rush, Rudock drops it off for Kerryon Johnson, and he is down at the 5-yard line short of the marker. Gets 12 yards back as the third quarter comes to an end. Matt Patricia will have a little more time to think about what they will do with a 4th down coming up. The Raiders leading Detroit as we head to the 4th quarter in Oakland. (13-7) our score. The Raiders with the lead over Detroit as we open up the 4th quarter and a 4th down situation from just outside the 5-yard for the Lions. And they are lining up for the field goal here with Ryan Santoso on to kick. The backup to Matt Prater. Sam Martin, the punter, will hold here. A long drive that started all the way back at their own 7-yard line, but is stalled out here.
Good look at Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, one of John Gruden's first hires. His second tenure here in Oakland was Derek Carr's offensive coordinator, Derek's rookie year. And I think that quarterback room is special. You've got a great coach and Coach Olson, you've got Brian Callahan coaching the quarterbacks. John Gruden's in there, and it's a tight-knit group, and they do a great job communicating. They're all on the same page, and that's what you have to have out of your quarterback room.
He was with the Rams last year in a big turnaround season for quarterback Jared Goff. So here's Santoso from 24 yards out, and it is good. 13-10. Lions get 3 points off the turnovers after the Raiders fumbled in their red zone. Just underway here in the fourth quarter, the preseason opener, Lions and Raiders.
Between them have won 6 of the last 7 Super Bowls.
Led by Big John Matuzak and Coach Charlie Sumner's rugged linebackers, Ted Hendricks, Randy McClanahan, Matt Millen, and Gorman Award winner Rod Martin, the Raiders hounded and pounded the Steelers. Mark Wilson led Oakland to nearly 500 yards of offense, while Cliff Branch made his 400th career reception.
Wilson back, setting up, looking as the rush comes. He's going deep to Ramsey, leaps, makes the catch, touchdown Raiders!
3 times the Raiders had rallied from behind before clutch defense iced the game.
Welcome back, Raider greats Rich Gannon and Matt Millen, alongside play-by-play BETH MOWINS.
Yards on 18 plays and just over 8 minutes for the Detroit Lions with the 24-yard field goal from Ryan Santoso. And it is a 3-point Raider lead.
Matt, you brought up a great point earlier about the new kickoff rule, the fact that the players will have to be on the 34-yard line. And Rich Bisacci said, what was the number? Between 7 and 12 yards.
Yeah.
So by the time the player catches it, the coverage units is about 7 to 12 yards behind where they would normally be. That's significant.
It's a big deal. You know what it really does? It puts more emphasis on the real speed guys other than some of the beefier guys.
And so far we haven't seen that in terms of the return, that one coming out to the 25-yard line. That drive of the game, by the way, brought to you by Mazda. Feel alive, an impressive 18-play drive.
Actually, Beth, I'm glad to see that. You know, there is some talk that they may eliminate kickoffs to get it out of the game of football, which I would not like to see.
But that's where the violent collisions are showing up, right, Matt? And a lot of the concussions.
Yeah, and I was on the competition committee, and we looked at those things earlier, and you know, this looks like it's a good way to breach the subject. Or problem, I should say.
First and 10, BJ Manuel.
Nice
completion to Marcel Aitman. Let's go down to the field right now. JT with a guest.
Thank you, Beth. I'm with the newest linebacker of the Silver and Black, Derek Johnson. Let's start off with the emotion of putting on the Silver and Black for the first time. How did it feel?
You know what? It felt really good. You know, it's a different feeling. They say you never know that feeling of being a Raider until you actually put that silver helmet on, and it was a sense of pride and a sense of dedication that you know, playing for the guys that was playing here before me. So it was pretty cool.
Take us through the process. How'd you become a Raider with Reggie McKenzie, John Gruden? How did it come together?
Well, you know what? I had a conversation with John Gruden. John Gruden's a big part of me being here. He loves veterans, so God bless him for that. But he knows the responsibility that the veterans have on the team by bringing the young guys together, getting this chemistry really tight, so we can go win us a lot of games.
We have one of the great all-time Raider linebackers, Matt Millen, up in the booth. Matt?
Yeah, DJ, it has to be tough, but you got that silver and black on because, you know, We were swinging at everything red and gold around this place.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know about it.
Hey, so you're in the middle of this defense, and one of the main roles that you're going to have, besides, you know, leading the team, is they're looking for a guy who's been there, a guy who's done that, a guy who knows how to play the game. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, they definitely was looking for a veteran linebacker. That's another veteran linebacker like myself to come in and help them, especially on nickel downs, especially on third downs, just as far as different checks, being that quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. And man, I take a lot of pride in my responsibility that I have on this Raider team, and I can't wait, man. And we're just gonna get better and better.
Well, thank you very much, Derek. We appreciate the time, and welcome to Raider Nation.
Hey, thank you.
Punt is away by Townsend. Flag is down. Brandon Powell knocked out around the 30. 47 yards on the punt, 10 on the return.
You know, we typically see a lot of penalties in the kicking game, not just in the preseason, but the first couple weeks of the season. The reason for that is a lot of the players that are playing in the kicking game didn't really do it in college, man. You got a lot of 3-year starters. They weren't covering kicks at Georgia or in Michigan.
And they're learning. They're learning how to play. And they're
penalty from the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
Learning how the game is played. That's a big deal.
We'll take the timeout. A 3-point Raider lead tonight in Oakland against the Lions.
Welcome back to the Raiders Broadcasting Network. The Raiders lead the Lions by a score of 13-10. The Raiders once again held their annual alumni weekend as they kicked off training camp 2018 at their Napa Valley Training Complex. Hundreds of former players attended this unique event and enjoyed watching the next generation of Raider players. A very special weekend that seems to grow every year. No team, no organization, and no other owner than Mark Davis treats their alumni this way. Back to you, Beth.
Well, JT, we've got two of those alums right here in the booth with us, and Rich Gannon and Matt Millen, who can speak to just that. And we've already talked a little bit about the brotherhood and the camaraderie of this group.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because they start bringing those guys back. And Mark, we kind of grew up with Mark. You know what I mean? There's a whole group of guys, and all of a sudden we're like, you know, we're old fat men anymore. But it's funny, I see him. It's really good to see everybody. Mark does a great job of bringing everybody back.
Yeah, like the great Al Davis. I mean, Mark has continued the tradition, and I think that, you know, that alumni is important, and it's great to see players that come back. Matt, you're here, you're out in the practice field. Warren Sapp was working with some of the young interior defensive linemen. You know, Jerry Rice comes back, Tim Brown. Matt, a lot of the guys that you played with, we see Jim Plunkett around here, Coach Flores. I mean, it's just, it's a unique fraternity. And everyone is grateful for all that Al and Mark have done for so many great players and coaches.
20 years after Al Davis first hired John Gruden to be the head coach of the Raiders, Mark just beaming, bursting with pride that he was able to bring John back this year after a courtship that lasted several years.
And Beth, you're right. I mean, he put the full court press on, and you know there were other teams out there. Tampa Bay was very interested in, but Mark was persistent. I give him a lot of credit, Matty. He worked at it. You know, he chipped away. He talked to John. He talked to different people around John. He knew that he wanted to get John back here in Oakland to finish what he started.
That's a big deal. And let me tell you something. This is a very jealous league, and there's a lot of people keeping their eyes on this place. There's a lot of people who don't want him to have success, but he's going to get it anyway.
A lot of people around Raider Nation thinking that something special is starting to happen. We've got another penalty flag. There are now 14 penalties on the night between the two teams. It will give us an opportunity, though, Matt Millen, to let you share with the folks at home. We've discovered who discovered leverage from our earlier discussion.
Oh, yeah, it's Archimedes.
Archimedes.
I tell the kids this. I mean, I've been telling them about Archimedes for ages. He is the father of leverage. Low man always wins. Worked then, works now.
Only a linebacker would know that.
Archimedes of Syracuse, by the way, the college of Al Davis. Lake Merritt here in Oakland, California. The Raiders leading the Lions 13-10. Rookie Eddie Pinheiro, a couple of field goals. Connor Cook to Ryan Switzer on a 7-yard touchdown pass. Amir Abdullah with a touchdown tonight for the Lions on the ground. And Ryan Santoso with a field goal. This is E.J. Manuel. Hit by Milligan, just outside the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Raiders' next game will be at the Coliseum in LA to face the Rams, which will be interesting because 2 of their 4 preseason opponents they will play again in the regular season. That'll be a 1 o'clock game next Saturday.
I don't think you'll see much out of either team in terms of strategy and what they're willing to show when you consider the Raiders, Beth, have to play the Rams in week 1.
Week 1, that's
Monday Night Football.
That's really
unusual.
Yeah, it really is unusual. You don't usually see that.
Oh, and another emotional night for John Gruden because that's one of his mentees, right? He gave Sean McVay his first coaching job in the NFL with the Buccaneers.
Part of the Gruden coaching tree.
Yeah.
A lot of assistants that have gone on to bigger and better things elsewhere.
McVay, of course, the coach of the year last year in the NFL, getting the Rams the NFC West crown.
You know, as a quarterback in this situation, you're a veteran player. You've got a lot of young players in the huddle, some playing for the very first time. You got to make sure you give them the information they need. You got to make sure that you can be a calming influence. I think that's important, man. You got young guys coming in and out of the huddle. They're so excited. They're not sure what to do. You got to calm them down, give them the information, and tell them to cut it loose and let's go have some fun.
James Butler stood up around the 45-yard line.
When I was in Kansas City, I wasn't a starter all the time, and so I played in a lot of these situations. I wanted to make sure that my guys knew that we were going to go out and have some fun. So I called our crew the GNC. We were the Get Nice crew. So I said, guys, when we go out there in the 4th quarter, I don't care if there's nobody in the stands. We're going to get nice. You know what I mean? We're going to go out and have some fun. And that's what you have to do if you're a veteran guy like E.J. Manuel. Hey, let's get the ball in these guys' hands. Let them have some fun. Make some plays. Put some points on the board.
Got to direct it. That's what you have to do.
Manuel feeling some heat on the roll.
Ooh, good throw.
And the catch is made. Paul Butler, the tight end.
That's one of those. No. Good throw.
19 yards on the strike. And the Raiders are going to go up tempo.
Oh, I don't know if he caught that.
Oh, that might have popped out. That's why they were going up tempo.
That's why they did it.
Flag down on the quick snap.
No.
Nope.
I think that ball hits the ground first.
False start. Number 71 offense. Going from a 3-point to a 2-point to a 3-point stance. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's a good job by John Gruden and E.J. Manuel jumping the football, not giving the Lions a chance to throw that challenge flag. Now you see
they threw it, but it's too late. Interesting. So they throw the flag. The previous play doesn't count. So can you get the? They went through it though.
I think once the snap of the ball, you can't challenge.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the play of a catch. Timeout.
How?
It is a dead ball foul. I don't know if they're saying he got the flag out ahead of time. I don't know. I'd like to get an explanation for that. That was unusual.
Or not, that was a catch by Paul Butler.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has been changed to incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down and 3 from the 45-yard line. Clock operator.
That's a first for
Please
me,
set the game clock to 8:34.
Yeah, it was a dead ball foul, and so that allowed Patricia to throw that flag after the snap of the football. So that play didn't count.
So in essence, they're saying it didn't even exist.
Yep. So it will now be 4th down for the Raiders. Yeah, did not have control of that football as he rolled. There is a new catch rule clarification this year, but you still have to control the ball. That's first and foremost, so they didn't even get past that. Johnny Townsend, 4 punts tonight, averaging over 42 yards per kick. Got one inside the 20 as well. Brandon Powell is back deep. This is the 4th or 5th different get-together for the officials here tonight. They seem to be having an issue as to where the ball should be spotted.
Well, that side judge records all of that. It's all written down, so he should be fine with that.
All right, looks like they're ready to go now. They don't move the ball at all.
Now they want a kick ball now.
These guys aren't in any hurry now, are they?
They don't have a plane to catch.
No, I can tell, Matt. Oops.
Townsend.
Shankadelic.
Off the side of his foot. Let's send it down to the field now with JT.
Thanks, Beth. I'm joined by Bruce Irvin. Bruce, first off, congratulations on getting your degree at West Virginia. Tell us what that meant to you and your family.
It meant a lot. You know, I did it mostly for my son. Basically, just letting him know that his dad is more than a football player. So when kids approach him when he at school or something, they can be like, your dad is a good football player, but he can stop and be like, he also graduated from college. So I felt like I wanted to be more than a football player, and I went back and got that.
You've always been a great leader, dating back to your Seattle years. What's changed now with 3 young players up front and all the new roster players on defense? You're a little bit different this year in Napa. Tell us about that.
I'm the oldest one in my room, so you know, that's a change for me. You know, having those 3 younger guys look up to me, you know, they look up to me everything I say. You know, they right there looking in my mouth. So I have to lead in the right way. You know, so it's a new position for me, but I'm looking forward to it. And you know, we got a great room, and those 3 rookies are going to be really big for us.
We got one of the great former Raider leaders of all time in the booth, Rich Gannon. Rich.
Bruce, you've been through a lot of change in your short time
in
in Oakland.
Face. Number 95 defense.
With a couple different coordinator changes. Tell us about Paul Gunther. What have you liked about his style of play so far?
Oh, first off, he put me back at defensive end, so
you're not going to be dropping in coverage anymore. I know that.
That's great. You know, but you know, he's a great guy. He's been in this league a long time. You know, he was in Cincinnati for 9 or 10 years, and they had a lot of great defenses. So he's brought a great scheme and a scheme that is easy for guys to pick up. You know, just let guys go out there, run around, and react and play football. So I think the guys done a great job of picking it up and going out there having fun.
Well, Bruce, thank you very much. We appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Bruce Irvin moving to that defensive end spot, going to spend most of his time using what Paul Gunther says is his best gift, and that's going forward and trying to get after the quarterback. You saw the graphic there too. One of just 2 guys in the league in the last 2 years with Yannick Ngakoue, 15 sacks and 10 forced fumbles.
I promise you'll see less of him dropping in coverage like you saw a year ago, and more of him as a primary edge rusher opposite Khalil Mack.
Which is smart. I mean, there was nothing, just going back in time a little bit, I remember when they used to drop Lawrence Taylor, and you'd go, great.
Quarterbacks would love it.
Fantastic.
Holding.
Drop them all you like.
10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
I think your job as a coach is to put your players in the best position for them to succeed. And you know, you look at Bruce Irvin, not like he's not athletic enough to drop in coverage, Matt, but he's best coming screaming off the edge.
2 toughest positions to find are cover guys and rush guys. And they get paid as well. And they should.
Yeah, the Raiders were 24th in the league last year in sacks. Mack had double digits, but there wasn't much help from the rest beyond Bruce Irvin. So
it's a good hustle play by Trayvon Hester. He's able to sniff that thing out and then get it out there. See Hamilton down with that ankle again.
This is the 2nd time he's been hurt tonight.
Timeout for an injured player.
You heard JT mention Bruce. He's actually one of a handful of guys that picked up their college degrees in the offseason. Bruce going back to West Virginia. He was also the Raiders nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award last year. Amari Cooper picked up his degree at Alabama, as did Gabe Jackson, returning to Mississippi State to finish up his bachelor's degree.
Says a lot about their commitment to finish their education. It also says a lot about the Oakland Raiders and the job that Lamont Winston does, their player programs director, and really helping these players get back and get back on campus and really finish what they started.
You know, you can encourage them all you like, and there's a lot of guys who they just never do it. So kudos to these guys for getting the job done.
Jalen Ware was the other guy that went back to school to get his degree as well. Back to play here on 3rd down and 19. 4 guys coming after Rudock. He'll roll out of the pocket and throw it downfield and almost picked off by Nick Nelson. They're going to say it was incomplete. Azim Victor was the guy bringing pressure on the quarterback.
Incomplete.
Just 5 interceptions all year last season for the Raiders. They want to snag these.
Watch Victor come inside out. He forces his throw. He's had a chance to be caught. He just couldn't find the handle.
Threw it right to him, Matt.
Yeah.
Deep for the Raiders.
Ooh. This kid's been launching them all night long.
Another 50-yard boot, 6 yards on the return for Nick Nelson. And E.J. Manuel and the offense will head back out there, 6:17 to play. Raiders scoring coming in the first half. Derek Carr played 1 series, and then Connor Cook took over. And E.J. Manuel so far in this second half, 3 for 4, 34 yards. Well, you talked about
lined up both sides.
Kicker Sam Martin. He's got 4 punts of over 50 yards tonight. Warren bounces to the outside into Detroit territory and down inside the 40-yard line. Pick up a 19.
That linesman must have been looking at it crooked, because I'm telling you, I was dead on this right down the line right here, and they were lined up offsides. But a nice job of finishing the run.
Had a running back coach used to say, get violent on the boundary. You know, don't let them, don't ease up on the boundary. That's when you get hit and hurt.
That's when you'd slow up to be nice to Walter Payton, to give you a straight arm right to the face. Boy, he pissed me off.
Another bounce outside for Warren. He's going to be up over 80 yards as he picks up the first down.
Beth, you see that finish right at the end there? That was really, he lowered his pad level and he picked up that first down right at the end of the run. Really well done.
This kid's an NFL running back. I mean, he's got some quickness too, Matt, to get to the edge of a defense.
Oh yeah, watch this right here, right there. That's nice work.
He's one of those backs that always seems to be falling forward at the end of runs.
Yep. His dad was the exact same way.
Well, the question then becomes for the Raiders in a few weeks' time, how many running backs are you going to keep on the roster? Warren with a good showing tonight. We've seen some nice things out of Jalen Richard, even as a receiver tonight. Of course, Marshawn Lynch, Doug Martin in limited duty, and then Keith Smith as the fullback. There's the elder Warren.
He's a good player.
Really good player.
I remember him in Seattle as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a big man.
That's where he did most of his damage.
Did a number of Pro Bowls, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
How about it, man? It's good to see. That's a good pickup.
11 carries tonight for Chris. None of those have resulted in negative yardage.
He's wide open.
Isaac Whitney. First down, Raiders down around the 12-yard line.
That's the benefit of having a good run game. They'll jump that on the inside. It opens up on the outside. This is a play that they've been running all night long. It's just different eyeballs looking at it.
It's another way to get on the edge and get on the perimeter. You get Chris Warren up in there, breaking up, busting up some ribs and tenderizing them, and then you come back out with the slide route out the back door.
On 1st and 10, it's Warren to the short side of the field, and a flag here looks like it's going to send the Raiders back.
Yet again.
Penalties and turnovers in the red zone have been a problem. Just got to behave yourself in this part of the field.
Holding, number 44 offense. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
You're a check.
Undrafted rookie out of Marshall.
Well, they've given John enough material to get on him about this week.
Too many holding penalties, 6 of them tonight. That's got to get cleaned up, and it will.
1st and 20. Raiders are back outside the 20-yard line. Warren on the ground, may have gotten a yard. Wrapped up immediately there by Jonathan Freeney, the free agent pickup from the Saints.
Timeout. Detroit, their first. 30 seconds.
Lions will take a 30-second timeout here. 3:07 to go. It's the return of John Gruden, but it is the debut of Matt Patricia as the new head coach of the Lions, one of 7 new coaches around the NFL this year. This was a team that just missed out on the playoffs at 9-7. And he's standing right there with the guy who gave him his first coaching job, Paul Pasqualoni, when he was the head coach at Syracuse. And he hired Patricia for his staff. Of course, they will have Matthew Stafford returning for his 10th season now in Detroit.
He can throw the ball, that guy.
3 trips to the playoffs, but they're looking for their first playoff win in a long, long time. Incomplete on 2nd and 21. Marcus Baugh was the guy that dropped.
That's scary for a quarterback. You know, E.J. Manuel already started his arm, and then Marcus Baugh falls down and could have easily been intercepted.
Fun, he never fell down at Ohio State. Now's the fine time to start.
Well, they played on AstroTurf there at Ohio State, didn't they, Matt?
Yeah,
the footing was a little bit better.
A little bit different.
BJ so far 4 for 6, 46 yards. He'd like to put up a touchdown drive in his competition with Connor Cook for that backup spot. There isn't a whole lot of room here for James Butler. He'll get run out of bounds.
And a field goal keeps Detroit in this game, whereas the Raiders would have been able to get the ball in the end zone there. Would have pretty much iced the Lions.
So the turnover stalled the last drive inside the red zone, and the costly holding penalty there stalls this one. Pinheiro is 2 for 2 from 21 yards and 48 yards. And the rookie will have another go here, again off the dirt. And a 45-yard attempt out of the hold of Johnny Townsend.
Down the middle.
It is good. Andrew DePaula, the long snapper in that group. So Pinheiro's debut here in the preseason. He's 3 for 3, but it's still within reach for the Lions. 2:17 to go. Let's go down to the field now, JT.
Thank you, Beth. Raider Nation, shop the latest official gear of the Silver and Black at any of our 13 Raider Image locations for the largest selection of your favorite player jerseys, apparel, headwear, and more. The Raider Image has you covered. Visit RaiderImage.com for store locations or to shop online. Beth, I'm thinking of purchasing a few custom jerseys, that throwback Gannon number 12 and the Millen 55 for my 2 sons in high school.
Oh, is that off the sale rack, JT?
Actually, mine would be off the discontinued rack.
Oh. 8 plays, 41 yards, and 4 minutes on the Raiders drive. The 45-yard field goal from Eddie Pinheiro.
You know, it's like riding a bike. If you're John Gruden, calling plays again. You know, and it's a Ken Stabler jersey. Just don't show the back. Nope, that's a mistake.
Not good.
Kicked out of bounds. This is going to set up the Lions with some good field position.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team. Ball be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
And look at Rich Bisaccia, not happy about that.
Yeah, he's not going to be. That's where you don't want them.
Especially not the start of a 2-minute drive. Plenty of time for Detroit. 2:17, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning.
And they are set up at their own 40-yard line. They're going back to Matt Castle here. Castle with the short completion to Marcus Lucas, the tight end.
It's probably a little bit more experienced in their 2-minute operation. That's maybe the reason why you see the veteran Castle back under center.
And they only get the one play off before the 2-minute warning. 16-10 Raiders. The play of the game is brought to you by Xfinity, and for the Raiders, Connor Cook to the back of the end zone, 7 yards to Ryan Switzer with a touchdown in the first half for Oakland.
Good effort there by Switzer, keeping that play alive. We talk about the scramble drill coming to life in the back of the end zone.
2-minute drill now, and a chance for the Lions to try and win it. Underneath, Azim Victor with the tackle on Brandon Powell. A couple of timeouts still left for the Lions. They've gone back to Matt Castle here to run this late. Over 100 games experience in the league, and it was almost picked off by Nick Nelson.
Thought it was a pick when there's a flag back there, too. It's going to go against Detroit, holding.
Good job by Nelson jumping
74
that route.
offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
That's the 5th holding penalty against the Lions.
That's Nelson. He almost runs the route for the receiver.
Good anticipation.
Third and 14 now with 1:33 to go. Lions from their own 36-yard line. Castle rifles it to Lucas, and Nelson makes sure it's a short gain and keeps him in bounds.
Nelson's played well here tonight.
Yeah, we've called his name a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Heady player, playing smart.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Quick on the release, and the first down across midfield to Lucas and into Oakland territory.
Brought pressure the opposite way.
Good by Castle.
14-yard pickup from the 47. Castle looking deep down the sideline. Broken up at the 10-yard line. Intended for Chris Lacey, and it was Sharice Wright on the coverage.
Stayed right in his hip where he had to. Was able to give himself a chance to make a play on the ball.
He turns back and finds the ball. Matt, so many of these guys don't do that. They panic. That's where a lot of the PI pass interference penalty shows up. Good job by the veteran corner getting his head around and locating the football.
Now in his 8th year out of USC, a free agent arrival from Buffalo. 2nd and 10. Blitz coming from the secondary, and Castle completes it down inside the 35 to Powell. And another first down, pick up a 13.
Came with another overload blitz. Weren't able to get there.
Timeout. Detroit, their second. 30 seconds.
Lions will have 1 timeout remaining.
Wow, that was a incredible catch. Yeah, watch this. He doesn't catch it cleanly. It goes all the way down his legs, and he keeps that hand underneath it. I don't think it ever hits the ground. That's pretty good concentration.
That's a great job
by Powell. That's impressive.
Brandon Powell able to hang on to it to set up the first and 10.
Maybe it did right there.
Think it touched the ground?
That view, I'm looking up at the big board. Watch this. Right?
The previous play is now under further review.
Oh, yeah, right there, that angle.
Yep. I don't know if they have it down in the truck, but that feed up on the big screen.
They're taking a look at it.
Let's see.
Unfortunately, it's
that would have been the spot right there. And from this angle, it's tough to see.
That's pinned against.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Good
call,
shot.
Matt.
Good shot.
Matt, I always thought you'd be a good official. You know what I mean? I don't know if you'd be like a referee, but an umpire,
I'd be an
line
umpire.
judge,
Umpire, yeah. I did it one time.
That's right. I remember
Remember
that.
that?
Was that NFL Europe or was?
No, that was with the NFL. I did it in the preseason.
That's right. I remember you.
That
You
was
must have been
a
scared for your
blast.
life.
That was awesome. I had
That's
so
right. I
much
do
fun.
remember that.
I remember we had practice over in San Francisco, and T.O. ran a shallow route underneath me, and I ran right into him. I
knocked him down. Just your natural instincts.
Yeah, what
you
you
probably
gonna
threw
do?
him a little flipper.
Absolutely, you threw
You redefined the phrase inadvertent contact with an official.
Matt forgot he didn't have a helmet and shoulder pads on.
Like, what are you doing? T.O. looked at me like you're an idiot. He was right.
We've got a couple former players who are NFL officials. Steve Freeman is a back judge. He was a long-time safety in the NFL. Not a lot, though.
That when they moved the umpire from behind the linebackers to the other side of the ball behind the running backs, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I think you get away with some holding in there. You can't see it from behind, right?
Yeah, but the umpire, a good umpire, he was the guy who controlled the game.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who, let things go or didn't let things go, or let you play or didn't let you play. And you knew every umpire.
Yeah.
Now
yeah, you could tell the umpires back then, and that day, they're walking around like this with bad knees.
Exactly.
They're getting run over all the time.
Exactly right. And that was one of the problems. Is the good ones were getting older.
Yeah.
We needed an influx of some new young blood in there, but it didn't happen. So they put them on the other side, and they said it was, for safety reasons.
Looks like we got a call.
After review, the ruling on the field does stand. First down. Detroit will be charged their second timeout.
It's inconclusive. You have to imagine they didn't see enough to overturn it.
Yeah. Well, you could make the case that his hand on the other side was under it.
Apparently John Gruden doesn't like it.
Oh. Well, he said Detroit would be charged their second timeout, but that should be on the Raiders, right?
I think he was confused.
Oh, that's right. It was an official review anyways. 40 seconds to go. Castle incomplete.
Cowser had a great jump off the line of scrimmage and forced him out of the pocket to throw this thing.
Here's one more look, and right there it certainly appeared to hit the ground. But the review deciding that it was a catch.
Yeah, but Matt, you're right. I mean, it hits the ground, but he's got his hand there. Does the ball move enough to give you the indication that he didn't have control of it?
Second down for the Lions. Blitz coming, batted down at the line. I think that was Nick Nelson again that got a hand on it.
Played a heck of a game, Nelson. Cowser right now, Cowser's been getting some great inside movement off this left tackle.
You see the stingers come off the edge. Really nice job. That double A look is confusing. It puts a lot of stress on the protection unit. You see both linebackers walk up inside, and it makes it very difficult to get those double teams along the line of scrimmage.
Four-man pressure on third down. They get to Castle. The ball is out. And the Raiders jump on it. James Cowser got to the quarterback and knocked it loose.
That's the third straight play Cowser's come through. That was 3 straight plays of big-time football for Cowser.
Frosty Rucker is the Raider that got on the loose ball.
Little stunt up inside, little TE game, and Cowser comes back underneath.
Was the arm in motion? The last John Gruden game as a Raider was the tuck rule. Just throwing that out there.
I kind of remember that. I can't remember where I was.
They are not going to say the arm was coming forward. Fumble, Raiders recover.
They better not. 25 seconds left. You don't want to give them another shot.
James Cowser with the shot to knock the ball loose. And Rucker with the recovery. And the Raiders can now run out the clock and pick up the preseason win 16-10, the final. John Gruden picks up the W, and plenty of things to talk about for the next week to prepare for the Rams.
I don't care that it's preseason. This is John Gruden's return to Oakland. It's their first preseason game, Matt. A win's important. I think there's a lot of good things to garner from that film on both sides of the ball. I thought there was some terrific play, some really good runs. We saw some good play from Connor Cook, and I thought overall, Matt, defensively, there was a lot to be pleased about.
Yeah, a couple of young players played pretty darn well. I thought Nick Nelson turned himself in a great game. It was nice to see Kauser finish this thing at the end. And then there's enough things that went wrong that you can correct. So there'll be a lot to work on this week, but they took it the right step.
And the penalties, Beth, is something that the Raiders got to get cleaned up. We talked about that earlier. The fact that this team has historically been up around the tops in the league in that department. That's something they've got to get corrected. Otherwise, I thought it was a really good effort. Great energy and good stuff from this Raiders squad.
A smile from John Gruden, and hopefully some of the Raiders that are still on the sideline will be able to be with us for the Rams next Saturday down in LA. JT will have you when we come back.